Okay, hope I'm live. I don't know if I'm on my microphone or my headphones, so I gotta get a little closer. Let me check. So I was prompted to come to tease karaoke, which I was like taking seriously. I was like, I'll do it, it's fine. So I was like half asleep, and then I got there and I had to wait for her to talk to Ryan, and she did it. So then I started playing around on StreamYard, and I just figured I'd see what's going on with it because I canceled my membership to it. They just don't do enough of the streams, and then when like I didn't know if I could still do a live. I forgot you still can, so I'm just kind of testing it out and see what this is all about, and trying to figure out what the parameters are. I know probably nobody's gonna be like joining this. I'm gonna check on my phone and see if I'm even actually live because I can't tell very well. But I was just gonna talk about a couple of things to test out, and then that's it. But let me check. Let's see. So I did pull up a couple windows. Let's do like a couple short videos, and then if it's working. Oh yeah, it does say I'm live. So let's see. I'm just gonna play like a tiny bit on my phone, make sure I can hear it. Let's see. It's really quiet. It's really quiet. Okay, now I think it's, but I don't know. Okay, anyways, so I don't even think this will stay up. I don't know how this works. I don't know if you just live at the time or if it saves. I don't think it saves it because that's I think what I had the problem with the other one I did with Lionel. I'm just gonna look real quick and see if I have any options. But let me see. Record. Oh wait, no, I don't know. I have no idea what it would be. Um, let me just check one thing. Oh, and I got a mouse. Let me see. I had to change my screen thing to like a different setting. Didn't save it. Hold on. It has like a better shape of like the background. Let me see if I can put it back on. I thought it was gonna be better this time too. I'm still in there. That's fine. Let's see where that. Oh shit. I don't like that. So I wanted that one. I think. What's the difference? They're all the damn same. Okay, well, hold it. Oh, trying to get my freaking mouse. Okay, I had to cut the thing open. So I guess this was a little better because it takes background out. But I've kind of got this weird setup in this room. I don't like it. I can't get this like angle right. Bug me. So I don't know where this. I should just probably take that as a hint. Okay, let me see. I'm going to present just a short little video first. So there's the ones that I had pulled up. One about just like a funny Taylor King video, and then I want to talk about the Washington Redskins, and so I'm going to share a video on that because I've heard controversial things on it, and it looks like the New York Post said yesterday that they are getting their name back, and I'm so happy because that's like my mom's favorite team, and she's a huge football fanatic, and so it's just such an iconic, like what do you call that, a logo or branding. So I thought that was cool, and it is really we have a lot of red symbolic like things that we really value in our culture, and like Redskins is not offending us. So anyway, we'll see what happens with that. I gotta try to cut these good things. And then the other one I was gonna talk about was like the Nephilim giants. and just some like folklore that was passed down to the natives. One guy in Utah, his name is Terry, so I'll pull it up on here. He's very good at, well, he just like loves exploring and getting sources firsthand from, like tribal leaders and kind of people that had been exploring archaeological sites early on. So it's pretty cool. And some of these people, like, he'll happen to talk to them, because they're a little older, some of them, and then a couple incidents where he talked to them right before they passed on, and so that knowledge was documented and saved, which was cool. Kind of my thing lately. It's like, why do we always make stuff up and try to guess instead of just asking the people like before us? And I thought about that because learning so much about my ancestry lately, I think about how, why didn't anybody ever say anything? Like, why didn't my mom know? Or if she kind of knew, maybe why didn't she tell me? I don't think she did, though, because I've been telling her, so I was just like, what? She doesn't know anything either. So anyway, we just have I guess, a tendency not to tell our kids, or some of us, I guess. My family did, like, I think my son's alarm going off. Oh, God. Hopefully turns it off. Anyways, he's forgot to set it off for school or something. Okay. What is a little tip thing? That's pretty loud as hell, too. I'm supposed to have a chip to put in there for a second. Sorry. Okay, I'm going to play a little bit of this video because I'll get the mouse going. So I don't have to keep doing this. Let's see. Okay, my favorite comedian, Julie King. And there's I'm talking about, well, the Western Race, obviously native, but the Nephilim giants and like Vikings. I don't know. I just thought this. Well, this actually I just liked. It came up first, but after I chose my other videos, it's like this actually kind of goes along with it. So let's see.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask a question. What the hell is the purpose of this?
So
More
bad. Hold on.
specifically, let me ask the white people.
That's horrible. One sec. Oh my gosh, I should just get this one. What the little chip thing? Can I drop it? What's that in there? Okay. No. It's gotta be in here something. Okay. This is ridiculous. Let me just read this real quick. Where is it? I had to like drop something. I don't know. I don't think so. Let me pause that real quick. I'm gonna fix this layout. I don't like that layout. It looks stupid. Yeah, and I don't know how to do that very well. So let me see here. One. See what it does. No, it's ridiculous. I had to. Okay, no. I shouldn't have messed with it. I started playing around. Oh, worse. Okay. Look at how these little boxes. When I click on it, it says, oh, that one worked. Okay, let's do that. All right, now I gotta go rewind this in a little bit. And then play.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask a question. What the hell is the purpose of this?
Seriously.
More specifically, let me ask the white people.
Not me. I wouldn't be doing
that
shit.
Why are they doing this? And yes, I'm asking y'all, but ain't nobody else up there. We ain't doing that. Ain't no black folks bringing ourselves up to do a damn thing. Y'all know this, y'all. Don't even argue with me, brother. You know good and hell well this, y'all. Why? They like, I don't understand. Like, are y'all bored or something? You know what we should do? We climb up on the power line with a sleeping bag and just hang on from the power line. How about that? What you think about that? That'll be great, right? An open sleeping bag, string up there 40,000 feet in the air. The doggone sleeping bag.
Not me.
And leave the sleeping bag open like a taco. Even though I know I like to move around in my sleep, I might roll the hell out the damn taco bag.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. Okay,
but it would be so much better if we did this 10,000 feet in the air. You crazy as hell. I don't understand it. I don't understand why we doing this. I got no clue. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh yeah, this is awesome. I probably played it
Who
before.
the hell is this? I don't know who this is. Whoever riding on this bus looking like that. Hey man, look here. I don't know what kind of narcotic this man done been on or whatever's going on. But let me tell you something. If I get on the bus, for any reason, I see somebody sitting on the bus look like that, get me the hell off the bus. Where we going? Hell? Cause I walk the rest of the way. I'm good. We don't have to be on the bus. Damn this. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I ain't riding no hell spawn demon.
What I just do.
You know what I'm saying? And what the hell going on with the bus driver to where the bus driver let him get on the damn bus?
Seriously, huh?
If I was driving the bus and I saw somebody get on the bus, I'm getting off. We done. I don't need to be part of this no more. I quit. Take that young man to the funeral home where he belongs. Ain't nowhere in hell. Somebody call the undertaker. Somebody get a hold of the coroner. This young man is going through something, and hell no. I say hell no. Look at it. No. I never go to sleep again.
One of those first dreams I did.
Never go to sleep again. I'm telling you, if I ever see him and I'm with my kids, it's gonna be a problem. I'm gonna have to whoop the devil's ass. I'm telling you, no. You can't be nowhere near around my chair. Not looking like that. Whatever you going through, you better go through it.
Okay. I'm so used to just touching it now. I gotta get in the habit of this. Okay. So now, which will be actually easier. Let me remove that. Now I'm going. Oh wow, we're going really forward. I don't know. Okay, let me see. I don't know why this is like hard for me to get this straight. Everybody else looks normal, and mine's like a struggle. Like, I don't know if do you guys put your computer like on, like elevate it? Because I have to, otherwise I can't. But then, okay, I'm gonna play the Washington Redskins one next. I'm not muted, right? Okay, cool. And hopefully this is the correct one, because I saw Black Conservative Perspective did one, and then the next day, so that would have been like, I think I saw it Wednesday or Thursday, and then I was at, we did like a later Thanksgiving, so I was with my mom on Friday, and I told her about it, and she's like, what? She was so excited. And so then I'm like, yeah, let me show you. And I started pulling up articles, and then some of the articles said, no, the owner said he debunked it and he'll never do that and blah, blah, blah. And then this one was yesterday, and that's the New York Post, it looks like. So I'm going to play it. Oh, wait. Let me actually act like a professional now. Ish. Like, really? Why is this? It's almost like I get it right in the next. Am I moving? Okay. I'm just going to stop. Okay. How should I? All right. So I'm going to see. Stop screen. Oh, anyway. Share screen. Okay. It's a lot easier with the mouse. I do have to say that. Because it's
headline from the New York Post.
You can do so much faster. Okay. Actually, I was going to get my son a cord yesterday. Why something talking quietly? Oh my God, no. Okay, I thought I was. All right. Now, let me see. This one we wanted.
Erasing Redskins history, one small defeat for America's woke Stalinism. Remember, the name Redskin was deemed to be offensive by some people. So let's figure out what's going on.
Yes, let's. I don't want to get my mom's hopes up.
Okay, so just a quick overview of what's happening. There's an NFL team here in the United States called the Washington Commanders. They were formerly known as the Washington Redskins for about 80 years. Then some activists decided that the word redskin was offensive because in the dictionary, redskin was defined as an offensive term.
It's a dictionary-defined offensive racial epithet. You shouldn't be using that to sell a national sports team to America or to the rest of the world.
He's referring to the Merriam-Webster Dictionary's definition of redskin, which says it's usually offensive.
So some polls were taken, and astonishingly, like 75% of the country was in favor of keeping the Washington Redskins name as the Redskins.
A poll this year showed 4 out of 5 Americans don't think the Redskins name should be changed. And there was one poll which asked Native Americans specifically about it, taken almost a decade ago. That survey showed 9 out of 10 Native Americans were not bothered by the name.
Now, you would think this wouldn't be an issue, right? 9 out of 10 Native Americans don't think it's an issue. Right. But we live in a woke world, and the protest started.
Hundreds of people gathered to protest on Thursday.
All right. So 9 out of 10 said, not a problem. That's not as majority as it gets when it comes to like the general public. And so, okay, something is happening right now. I'm getting very bad. Hold on. I think it's because I have the little bubble, but the picture that I'm looking at is like bigger. And so it's throwing me off, but okay. So anyway, but it seems like now, I don't know if it's like the myth, or maybe it's not a myth, but the reality that our lives are significantly easier, right, than our predecessors, our ancestors. I mean, they literally had to fight for every meal, and like they were just, you know, they only ate what they killed kind of thing. And so now we do have a lot of safety nets, and we're born into an infrastructure that really we just need to maintain and then hopefully, you know, increase like value, you know, or progress a little bit more than that, which is kind of natural anyway, because we're by nature creative humans that, you know, like to discover things or, you know, test out new ways of doing things. So with 90%, you'd think that would just be left alone. But I kind of feel like now, because we don't have to fight for every meal, and I know this is a common theory, it's not like I'm coming up with something like groundbreaking, but I do feel like it's probably true that we just want something to be upset about, because then we feel like we're really doing something. So it's kind of ridiculous, but the only people that matter is the natives, like if they want it or not. So let's see what happens next. Oh, no. Okay.
Thursday night outside the Minneapolis Metrodome as the hometown Minnesota Vikings hosted the Washington Redskins. The protesters object to the nickname Redskins, calling it racist and disrespectful. The team's owner says the name won't be changed and calls it a badge of honor. A group of Native American students from Minneapolis disagrees.
Our ancestors, they were slaughtered, they were scalped, and we don't want to be remembered by that.
I find it disrespectful for Native Americans to be getting treated this way.
Saying that it's an honor for us, it's really not. It needs to be changed.
6 members of the Minneapolis City Council recently sent a letter.
You know, they think they're really protecting somebody, and honestly what they're doing is the opposite of that, because if our grandparents or great or whoever has views of their life, their culture that they have developed up till that time, and that's just the common standard of the day, and then they teach us like this is the standard, this is what's common, and then we think, oh wait, I might be able to gain something out of this, so and then we completely twist their words around and lie, and they're no longer here to defend themselves. Like, that is not honorable. That's despicable. So I don't like find bravery in these people. I find these people to be just extremely problematic and argumentative, and they just love kind of creating controversy, negativity, and division. And I just think that's a hideous quality with no purpose or nefarious, self-centered, evil purpose. And if their ancestors are here, they better tell them to shut the hell up. It pisses me off. All right, let's go.
Letter to the team's owner and to NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell.
9 out of 10 Native Americans don't have a problem with the name. More than 75% of Americans are cool with the name. But again, it was like, hold on, we don't like the name, so it's racist. Like, the 9 out of 10 Native Americans don't even think it's racist, but they think this is insano stuff. But now the logo of the Washington Redskins was deemed racist. But the people who were deeming it racist didn't realize that it was.
I mean, some of the people that are here are now finding out they're Native American. Yes, I agree. But some of the people probably aren't. And not only are they kind of taking over the Native's identity, may or may not be true, but there's no proof. They weren't taught by their forefathers. They don't have DNA. They can't, trace their roots to this tribe in their lineage with like proven records. So they're kind of like, you know what? I think, or however they come into the conclusion. But it is one thing to come in it humbly. But like the people that are really pushing back, that are saying either they're doing it for the natives or they're, kind of natives, but they're not in a tribe per se, or they're not in a tribe officially, I should say. I mean, they're actually countering the true natives or the proven natives' wishes by saying, no, we don't want it. When they're saying we do, they're like, don't speak for us. We'll decide if you can be in our group based on some factors that we come up with eventually. But in the meantime, don't speak for us. And even if you get in our group, we're going to have a little talk first. Powwow, if you will. No, I'm kidding. I know that that's a whole different thing. But that's kind of a common slang, like, all right, powwow. Like, let's have a discussion and then we decide together what we're doing, but that's the audacity of this. Okay. And I'm going to find this picture of my mom and me in Seattle when we went to the Seattle Redskins game. Well, I'm going to put that on my profile. Okay, one second.
Native American tribes who came up with the whole concept. Here's how the logo for the Washington Redskins came into existence.
In 1971, Walter Blackie Wetzel, the Blackfeet tribal chairman and former president of the National Congress of American Indians, met with the Washington Redskins organization to urge the team to change the R logo on the helmet. With blessings from tribal leaders, Walter Blackie Wetzel brought photos from the Blackfeet Nation located in northwest Montana, and the image of Chief Two Guns Whitecap was most admired. And the enduring Redskins logo was born, a logo based after a real person out of respect for the Native American community. Chief Two Guns also served as the model for the U.S. Indian head nickel minted in 1913. Ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, that's cool. I see some people are in the chat or in the email. But that's okay. Cool. Hey, welcome. We are confirming the official chart reversal of this. So 90% of Native Americans wanted the name to be Redskins. We got some woke liberals, talk about how, it's awful, but yeah, I think they're winning.
Welcome Walter Blackie Wetzel's son, Lance Wetzel, and Walter Blackie Wetzel. and the Blackfeet Nation will forever be a part of the Redskins
American Indians with their blessing. Oh, how?
Right. See, this is what I'm talking about. We have to be really careful about changing history on people's behalf that we're proud of that history that we're trying to change. Like, they don't want it to be made to be like shameful, that they want it to be celebrated because that was like some of pride, like in many cases. And I think we just like turn into a, that's like a lot of people. So that we need to stick to the ancestors' account of their life, and then that way, that's like the honest and only way to move forward, because we can't build on like our assumption of what happened. We have to stay on track of what they tell us.
How is this racist again? I just don't get it. But they're saying it's racist. The Council of Native American Indians are racist against Native American. Again, this is insane. So, came racist, no matter where it came from. These Indian tribes are racist against other Indian tribes. Okay. Then the story goes nuclear. The sitting president of the United States at that time, President Obama, made these remarks about the logo of Native Americans.
Native American groups feel they've got new momentum in their efforts to get rid of the name Redskins.
It's about the way our children are affected by the imagery
of
we're going Washington's
again?
name and mascot.
Ray Halbritter and the Oneida Indian Nation.
Okay, are we going backwards again? I missed something. Okay, let's keep playing, because I saw this bit earlier. I don't know what's going on. Like, do people bounce? They're like, oh yeah, we go okay.
Are making a new push after President Obama's remark that if he were the owner of a team and its name of...
Oh, really? Oh, what a weird coincidence that the Marxists wants everybody to be pissed. It's like, oh, if it was me, I'd be mad. Well, it's not you.
Offended a sizable group of people. Quote, I'd think about changing it.
Then the Washington Redskins started losing sponsorship deals. It became a whole tragedy. So then they just gave in and said, okay, we're going to change the damn name from Redskins.
We want to turn now to some major news out of the NFL. A source telling ESPN that Washington's NFL team retiring its controversial...
Like, why would you just give in? You can't care what people think that much. You really can't, because you'll never please everybody. Just be a feather in the wind. Somebody says, if I were you, I'd think about changing it. Be like, cool, thanks. I'll think about it. Not like, mind your business. So maybe you should think about that. Maybe I'm getting grouchy because this is like my, I don't know. I just think, who are you to go against what the natives want? It's so narcissistic. And then it's meant to like be so, spiritual and like, well, and it's like, no, you're actually disrespecting the people. Anyway, okay.
Nickname. Rachel Scott joins us from Washington. Rachel, this has been a years-long and heated debate.
You're right about that, TJ. The team announcing this morning they are getting rid of both the name and the logo.
So what about the National Congress of American Indians, who literally blessed the name and logo and said, we would like you to use this, and this is pride for us?
With blessings from tribal leaders, Walter Blackie Wetzel brought photos from the Blackfeet Nation located in northwest Montana, and the image of Chief Two Guns Whitecalf was most admired.
That's just like all forgotten because somebody who's probably not even Native American deemed it to be racist. But the good people of Montana were like, hold on. This tribe, they're real people, and they had pride in that logo.
Because there's a great honor in the name
Well,
Redskin, which if we go by what's been reported versus what's actually factual.
Like, honestly, who is in charge? Because at least find another reason to protest it, not on behalf of the natives. Because that's so condescending to say, no, we're doing it, trust us, it's in your best interest. And they're like, no, we like it, we're proud of it. And for Chief, I'm the queen, and they're like, no. In fact, you know what? This is not is a little bit, well, it's related, but I'm not going to go into the like full details of it. But I kind of went down on these archives, and in the in the time of slavery, the only people that used the N-word were Black people, and they like made it up. And this is all in archives and stuff. And then it was kind of like it is now. Like they could only really use it with each other, and unless it was used in like a more like a friends kind of way. But it wasn't really used as derogatory until the mostly the civil rights movement. In fact, that's why Muhammad Ali was actually paid, and he was a plant to say nobody in Vietnam ever called me that word, right? And that was like a way to start turning that from our word, and it's our like kinship, what do you call it? Like where not sweet nothing, but like, just like friendly acknowledgements, like with friends, like what's up, homie, like that kind of thing, and that's how it was. And then people took it and said, actually, you guys should be mad about this because can you believe it? And then after Muhammad Ali and Kid Bush, they're like, oh my gosh, the white people made so. And I mean, sure, you can negate it, but I've heard all kinds of theories, and I read it in all the archives they're all in the federal government website, and you have to really dig for them, you do. But there's so many songs and stuff where, it's just folklore, and there's like a lot of music written by, and this is actual with music, composed piano, like, and then songwriting, like real, and it was written by Black people. You know what I mean? Okay, let me keep going with this though. Just reminding me of it.
Well, it's very opposite ends of the spectrum. Term redskin is not a derogatory term or a racist term. I'm not saying somebody couldn't say it in a derogatory term or in a racist way, but redskin is actually the status symbol of an elite warrior. And it's actually a purification ceremony where braves on the warpath actually paint their skin red to go to battle. And it's actually extremely honorable. And it's a very, very, very deep ceremony that is very not only steeped in history, but it's a purification ceremony where you make a deal with the Almighty that you're ready to die in battle if you need to.
Okay. I gotta find my stream here for a minute and moved it to another tab on accident. See, that's really cool. I mean, so when they first probably named the team, the Redskins, that was probably a very big like gesture of recognition for that group of people, the Blackfoot Indians in northwestern Montana, and they're like of all the things like we could think of that would be courageous and win warriors and like the competitors, that would be you. And they're like, well, they were doing it total as a token of respect and honor. And now it's been out to be like, why would you name your team? Like, think about a team in even in your younger years, like we got to pick a name, or like me and my ex-husband, we did those co-ed softball teams that were, I don't know how we found them, like community kind of, you do it like the parks or whatever, and your team comes up with its own name, and you're going to be like, oh, let me pick a name that is like despicable loser. Like, nobody does that. I mean, some people do jokes like bitch this or something stupid, but for the most part, I mean, you pick a name that is like a winner's, duh. I mean, come on. I just don't get it. I wish we weren't so like just so pessimistic and negative and like want things to be bad so much that we'll figure out a way to make it so, it's sad. Okay, 1 second. I'm just playing a picture. I'm going to keep playing it.
to. It's not a black-white thing for us. It's about rescuing our culture and preserving our history and defeating the damage done by the cancel culture, which I think is misguided. However, part of me believes in my heart that a lot of people were acting in good faith. They just didn't have the full or the proper information. So they're trying to fight racism, and God bless them for that. But you can't fight racism by eradicating and erasing people's culture or a race of people.
I hear you.
And that's what's happening right now.
So this Native American tribe who had pride in the team being called the Redskins, who had pride in having one of their chiefs as the logo, who is being remembered throughout the country when they go play other teams, when they go play in Europe, right? That's what the woke virus erased. And these people are like, this is insane on stuff. This name, this logo was honoring our families, our heritage. This is how people knew this guy.
That's actually pretty good rendition. See, this not. Oh, hang on. I think I'm muted. Am I? Oh no. Okay, good. I hate how I can't see the screens at the same time. Okay, so yeah, I mean, like I said, they had good intentions, but you have to find. Why would you just assume how other people feel? I don't understand that. I really don't. I think that is so rude. And find out why they named it that. Find out who it was, supposed to, basically emulate and honor and or degrade, and then ask them how they feel about it. I mean, otherwise, mind your goddamn business. Oh my God, can't. All right, here. Yeah, I can't separate names and tabs. Okay, got it.
Existed, and they just erased it because they felt it was racist when it wasn't racist to the people who they're trying to protect. Now, I have to mention the Washington Redskins organization went pretty thorough in trying to remove the name Redskin. So even in their prior games and back in their history books, they were essentially removing both the logo of the chief and the name Redskin from their history.
The NFL deliberately censored the logo on its official X account, as you can see here. They did this when honoring previous Super Bowl winners, and the Commanders are selling a shirt even today that does the same. You might ask what I mean by censoring the logo. Well, in the case of the NFL, they photoshopped graphics to cover up the logo on the team's helmet, as you can see here. This is John Riggins. He's one of the great legends of Washington, D.C.
Okay, hold on, I'm trying to see it, guys. Let's oh, I see what they're saying. Okay. Oh my gosh, really? Like, it's a dead name? How rude. That makes me so mad. It's like, now you can't say they won the Super Bowl or whatever. Look at that. Look at it. And at least do a better job instead of putting this sloppy ass red block on it. You don't know how to do Photoshop or what? That's lame. Okay. Okay. I'm probably not stand too long because I can tell I'm like annoyed easily.
And in the case of a shirt that was honoring Darryl Green, the logo is completely removed from the helmet as if it were some sort of obscene image.
All right, so that brings us to the news of the day is that the NFL's Washington Commanders, who were formerly the Washington Redskins, is unerasing that history, which you had just seen about them covering up logos and removing the word Redskin. Okay. They're going to place those things back into the archive because it just makes sense. And I think this is leading the team to reevaluate the name change from Redskins to Commanders. But my real question to you is, do you think Washington Commanders should just go back to the Washington Redskins? I want to shock you. I think they should. I think when you now know the history of how the name developed, how the logo was.
So the unerasing the Redskins is just making it so they don't blur out their logo from historical is so stupid. That's not even news. That should, yeah. People need to stop putting this on like, oh, guess what? They're getting their name back. If they're not, but the video's not over. It's so confusing. Yes or no? And why not? I mean, why didn't, I think this one kind of shit we should protest for. It's like letting these crybabies that don't even know, obviously, what's going on, make decisions for everybody else when there's like, the problem is them.
Designed and the history, it just makes sense. Some idiots saw that and just wanted to endow it with racism when no one else really thought that. It's so crazy that 90% of Native Americans, when asked, said we don't have a problem with it. And the vast majority of people in America didn't have a problem with it. And this is what I think is indicative of that cancel culture, is that it's just a small group of people said we don't like something, and now you've essentially erased these people's history from, this is a tribe from Montana. But hey, again, I'm some right-wing lunatic, and people say that my opinions can sometimes be unreasonable. But I think in this particular case, if I was the Redskins ownership, I'd be going back to the Redskins like tomorrow. We're going to be called the Redskins. I don't care what anybody has to say about it. But again, tell me where we're in the comment section. If you like this video, don't forget to like.
Okay. Well, every time I get excited about that, it's like, look at Washington Redskins bring back name. And then they didn't though. So what? Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I'm gonna just like hope they do, because at least it's getting a lot of attention. But I wanted to do something real quick. So let me stop sharing that. Okay. I'm trying to do. I don't know what my screen looks like right now because I'm in like trying to find something. Okay, here we go. I'm just changing my avatar picture real quick. Where'd it go? See if it worked. Okay, let me stop the camera. See. Yeah. Okay. So I don't know. Cut the guy out. I want to. Okay, wait. I can change the way my thing looks so we can. So we get the circle. Oh, okay. Wait. Brand. And it's not like retarded. Oh, I think I need that. Edit. Okay, wait. It's weird. Usually I like let you move the little box thing, but let me try. Audio. This settings just never end. Oh my god, I swear. So now I don't want the bubble thing, and I don't know how to fix that. Let me see. Not that. Oh wait, it's over here. No. Why is this not? Okay, it's kind of shady, but it's not putting him back in. I have to fix that somehow. Whatever. Okay, well for now we're gonna leave it, but it looks awesome too. Wait. Okay, we're gonna just move on. So I can't get it to work, so it's okay. Every other time I put a profile picture, it's like, oh, move it, adjust in the line, and then this time it's like, no. Okay. But okay, so. And I'm just kind of doing this to play around because I don't even think it's going to save since I don't have a Shimmer thing anymore. And I'm just going to find an alternative. I don't do it enough. Plus, what's going on? Is that what my screen looks like right now? Okay, my bad. I didn't realize I did that. Now I can't. Come on. Oh, so, can you see those little boxes on that thing? Well, there's one person, whoever it is. Hi. What does this mean? Okay, thanks. Whoa, I'm really close. Hold on. Okay, I have one more little video to play, and I really wanted to find a different one, but the one that this other one is kind of good. Isn't it's kind of about like the Native Americans talking about like the Nephilim and stuff, or just what do they call it? There's Anunnaki or something. By the way he says it, it's a little different, but it's the same thing. So let me find. Let me see. And I may change this one up because I know there was another one I liked a little better, but let's just stay for a minute. Well, I look for the other one. There's one that said that Nazis came through. So this, okay, Terry Carter, that's what I was trying to think of. He is from Utah, but I mean, he does travel around a little bit, not really too far from the Southwest United States. That's where the majority, by far, any like artifacts that so far that we've found in the Grand Canyon and that, like basically we're a lot of the natives that were kind of more like closely more related to South American natives, so like Aztec, Mayan, I mean originally Mayan, I would guess anyway, but seemed to be a heavily, and I think it used to be underwater, that's why, because now it's all desert, but which wouldn't make sense now, but before, you know, it would have been a lively kind of anywhere there's water, you know, it's a meeting place. So let me just start this one, and then I'm going to go through my other list and see. I've watched one when I was in southern Utah at the time, and it was like fascinating. So it's kind of still being there, but okay, one second.
Hey guys, I got a phone call from Robert Shrewsbury, or Robert Three Eagles as some people know him by, telling me that he had congenital heart disease and he didn't know how much longer he'd be around, and he wanted to share some things with us.
Oh wait, I think this is
my
him.
work schedule is crazy. I work 24/7 and I have a hard time even.
Okay, actually I think this is it. I didn't realize I had been fast forwarded so far. So I think when I started playing it, it was where it left off, so I didn't recognize that I had seen it. And I'm probably muted right now. Let me see. Am I? Oh no, I'm not saying. Okay. I'm like, wait a minute. All right, let's go.
Been putting these videos out and getting to interviewing people. But I made a point to go visit Robert because Robert's a wealth of information. Done a lot of studying, a lot of research, a lot of scientific experiments. And, you know, if Robert had something to share, you know, I wanted to get that. So this is the video, parts of the video that he did for us that he wanted to share with us. And sadly, it wasn't too much longer after this that Robert did pass away. At a young age, Robert helped uncover some giants that they'd found. And because of that activity in his life, that drove him to researching and figuring out who these giants were. And so a lot of this video is some of his research, some of his findings about the Nephilim. So with that said, Robert, I'm gonna miss you and thank you for sharing what you have shared with us. And I hope you guys enjoy this. Thanks. So I'm with Robert Shrewsbury. He invited me to come down and talk with him, and he's going to share some information about some giants and things near where he lives and some things he had some dealings with. And with that said, I'll just let Robert tell the story because it's something I've been interested in a long time, but I never have really known the whole story. And let's just see what happens here. And with that said, Robert, take it away.
Well, the first time I met John Brewer was when I was in my 20s. I was pretty young. And David introduced me to him. And he asked me to help him because he says, Johnny Brewer has this cave and I'd like to have it. And we could work together and we could have it. And eventually, you know, he said, you're a good talker. Maybe you can. I said, okay. So we went over there and he was working at the sewer plant. And he always worked graveyard. in Moroni, Utah. And so we started that. We would visit each.
Okay. Sorry. I had to just stop it for a minute. And I was like, oh my gosh, he meant like was there a plant working back in the day because they didn't have all the machines and everything. Oh, that'd be a terrible job. So anyway, this is like back when there were so many caves unexplored, which there still are. It's harder to find now, but pretty much like finders keepers kind of thing back then. Oh, I forgot. My bubble thing's so small anyway, but it's okay. So if I recall, I think this man is a member of a native tribe. If it's the same one I watched, but he'll go in unless he did, and that was the thing he said from the beginning. Okay.
Periodically over a period of years. And finally, when I moved to Los Angeles. There was a lot of good work there. Johnny Brewer wrote me a letter. Well, we always corresponded in writing also because he liked us. And he says, I'm going to send you a wooden sword that I carved. And I'll send one to David. And in the handle, it takes 2 maps to get to the site. And he says, so you'll both have to have both of them if you're going to access the cave. So pretty soon there was a sword in the mail. And then later there was one for David. My sword said number 1, Robert. David said number 2, sword number 2. Anyway, so that's how that started out. But and Johnny Brewer, well, he meant well. And that's how I come across it. Just one of those things. Is it a fluke? I don't know.
So those that don't know John Brewer and what he found and whatnot, can you tell us a story about that?
Oh yeah, Earl John Brewer lived in Moroni, Utah. He was out digging some arrowheads in one area, and a little deeper, and he noticed an opening. How can it be a little cave or something? So he penetrated it, and that turned out to be the cave. And there were some people in there, a woman and a man. He's about 13 feet tall. She's about 13 feet tall. I call them the Nephilim, and I got a good reason to believe it was David. And they call themselves, from what I've gathered, Wabanaki also, but that's the name of their confederacy, not the name of, because the Nephilim are not all of the same race. They belong to a confederacy.
So you're saying Wabanaki, not Anunnaki?
Well, that's another name for them.
The same name, huh?
Related. I know that the Algonquin people, I'm related to them from my mother's side, claim, and it's accepted by more than 40 tribes, that they're the oldest known confederacy on Earth. And what do they call their confederacy? Wabanaki. There was some connection somewhere, the way I look at it. And as far as Johnny Brewer told me factually on a stack of Bibles that when he was up there at one time going into the cave, there were 3 men standing at a distance from him observing him. He looked at them, and then they walked over to him and talked to him. He says, well, please don't bring anybody here unauthorized. And so then they turned, they walked away, and then it looked like he says they walked behind an invisible wall.
Really?
Both of them disappeared that way. Later they came back and talked to him.
Okay, so now this is all like stories I've kind of heard before. So, but I had just kind of read them online or heard about them on panels and stuff. So it's interesting. I mean, obviously, people not everybody's going to believe that, but I mean, when so many people share the same experience or same story, and then there's like ancient writings of things, but like I don't know why we'd fight so hard to not at least consider that it's true, because I just yanked on the cord and it was just like the power box thing, but it's fine. It was loud. Okay. Well, I'm gonna restart it. Here we go. I don't know how much to play. I don't think this guy cares if you share it, but
took him into the underground city.
Do you say what he's seen in the underground city?
Oh, he just says it was a very beautiful place. He says the people in there have all kinds of powers, mental powers, to do things.
So is this near his cave?
It is. It's right.
I'm gonna take this guy down for 1 second because I fixed my picture. Let's see if it works. Let's see if I can get it a little bigger. What's the point of all this? It doesn't change anything. They're all just circles. Yes, that's when it's like, I don't know. That is dumb. So why is this freaking... Sorry, user friendly, it's my opinion. That's that. Okay, I guess that's as good as it gets, but you can kind of see it. So that guy was decked out in the Redskins. My mom's decked out in the Redskins. You can't see mine, but I was like rooting for Seattle. And my brother, he's a Seattle fan too, Seahawks. So it was at the Seahawks Stadium. And it just happened to snow like that. It never snows. It was so freaking cold. And they had their new stadium. And so my stepdad, he were, you know, like had like the ticket from his company or whatever. And so they're like what do you call it, like 50-yard line, and only like 10 rows back. Those are like dope seats. But I just spent the whole time in the little they have like an inner circle where it's covered, and they had this wassail, and I still drink with it. And so it was like really warm wine. There was other people gathered around it. I'm like, every time I left there, I was like lit. I was like, are you drunk? You know, like, oh no, it's fine. You know. But it was freezing though, honestly. Like I was. All right, I'm trying to get this one back added to the stage, but I think because I changed the format. Okay, where the hell is it? Shit, I messed up. Hold on. I like the other one had better. Was that? No, that was a little too small. Let's see. This is freaking tiny. It's weird. Oh my God. Okay, well. It's ridiculous. Okay, let's go with that one. I'm just going to stay cam down anyway.
Right there. I won't say that.
Okay.
It's there, and it's from my detection work, I found all of those installations that are underground cities are housed with silicon carbide. Now, I don't know if you know what that is.
I don't.
It's beautiful, but it's like a gemstone. It's found in nature, and it can also be made. And it a diamond is 10 hardness. Silicon carbide is 9.8. It's pretty hard stuff. Carbide, they use it for cutting blades and things like that. So, anyway, that's it. I can't prove anything I'm saying on that regard. But I have detected those all over the place. Whenever what Johnny had was a burial. The people live underground. They live in underground cities. He has a burial. So they bury him up topside. They don't bury him in their homes in the cities. And there'll be a tunnel underneath, about 100 feet deep, another one underneath that, about 6 layers deep, about 1,700 feet long. And they're here. They're at the Skinwalker Ranch, the Green Frog Ranch, and all those goofy places. What I think is a phenomena that comes out of those places, a strange phenomena, I think it's a high-tech scarecrow. Keep people out. That's what I might take on it. But anyway, yeah, and so they keep them away, and most people fall for it. You know, John Hutchinson has one too in Arizona. Another scarecrow. But I have tested all those. I went up to the Skinwalker Ranch about 30 years ago with an EM83, and I ran it over, and I just held tunnel after tunnel after tunnel after tunnel. Oh yeah. To tell you a little story about how it works, the EM83, I have one. Anyway, there's a site that I took on a partner with last year, and there was an actual treasure, Spanish, and I had done it by Dalvin, and it's a couple 100 miles from here. So we all drove out there, and we landed on the GPS was a big Spanish turtle.
Wow!
I hit it right down on the money. So, and then I marked where the tunnel was, and the room is about 35 feet deep at the top of the room, and so on and so on. I marked it in detail, and there was no more thought about it. But a year had gone by, and they came by here about a month ago, roughly, and partners, and it says, "We want more evidence. We just don't have enough faith in your dowsing." I said, "Oh, okay, well." Notwithstanding, I doused his house as a blind test and located his things. People get doubtful, and I'm not blaming them. They're nice people.
Yeah.
But so I said, well, you have to hire this guy. He's at Geo Western, and he'll go out there with an EM83.
Is he still alive? Old.
He is, Gary Hewitt.
Gary Hewitt, yeah.
So Gary Hewitt goes out there with them. They paid him, and he doused exactly what I doused.
Really?
The exact location. Tunnel here, room here.
Okay, I'm like thinking about taking applications for a Explorer partner. No, seriously, I think it'd be really cool to go to a lot of these sites. I mean, obviously some that are already discovered, and just to see them for yourself, like you know, different caves and even some of the big like worldwide monuments. But I mean, I feel like some of those you can always just like see them on, and yeah, you want to see them in person. It's cool to like get the scale, but I kind of would rather almost go to ones that aren't even known, or find something like the chance of finding something new. I mean, people have done that forever. People have discovered, and there may have been people on it, but it's still kind of discoveries that they can add to, or, you know, when they found gold or diamond, you know, whatever it is, like, I don't know, just a little bit exploring. It is kind of scary though. Like some of those caves are, oh yeah, crazy. And I mean, we don't know what the hell is going on down there, and there are probably things that, you know, a little bit better skills in dark caves than us, but I don't know. It's gonna be kind of fun.
Room here, metal here. I just blew them away.
Yeah.
I says, well, are you guys doubtful now? I said, not now. And they'll hit us sometime in April, or May, or whatever. But but I took that same machine. Well, I have one like it. It needs to be repaired right now, so I can't use it. But to the Skinwalker Ranch, and I just hit tunnel after tunnel after tunnel after tunnel after tunnel. They're endless, and there's metals in them. So I'm saying, okay, I'm doing some scientific stuff. It's not just my dowsing.
No, yeah,
I like verification. Because maybe I'm a doubting Thomas too. So
Yeah.
That's all. But anyway, I met John Brewer, and that's all that stuff that's come up, and finally, wow. All right. Anything else?
So you saying that they told him, please don't write a passage?
Well, the mummies.
Oh.
Yeah. And then as far as the city, it's they have technology so you can't even.
You won't be able to find the city.
Well, listen, did you know Charlie Hunt?
Yes.
I knew her really, really well.
I didn't know her very well, but I've met her a few times.
Yeah.
Through Gary Clifton.
I asked her one time, Gary Clifton, yeah. I says, you live in Sigurd? She says, yes. I'm always looking for evidence. Okay. And she says, yeah, I do. And I says, you've lived there all your life, haven't you? She says, yeah. I'm still living in the house I was born in.
Mm.
And she was around 80 at the time, I think, somewhere there. And I says, have you ever seen anything strange across I-70 into the foothills there to the north? And that's what she was. She'd shoot from the hip. She didn't care if you believed her or disbelieved her. If you disbelieved her.
Yes, she didn't care, huh?
Yeah. So she says, Robert, she says, I have seen the ground shimmy when I was over there. And then there would be a gaping hole there, like something out of Star Trek.
Hmm.
And then these silver discs would go shooting out and then hover up in the sky. And she says, one time they were doing that, there was a cigar-shaped one, and these little silver discs would go in and out of the cigar-shaped one, like it was a transport, and then back down into the ground. And she says, Robert, I have seen that at least 100 times in my life.
Wow.
I tested it out, and I pick up the silicon carbide, I pick up all the burials, and they can be picked up with an EM83. Again, anybody that wants to can hire Gary Hewitt. I'll tell them where to go. If they're doubting Thomas's, they got some people, they just love to doubt. On the other hand, there's so much sci-fi BS.
Yeah.
How do you know what to believe?
Right.
I always say test it. Test the water. If you want to know the truth, spend the time and the money. That's what I told these guys. So they went out there and tested it. And then they took the well rig that I had and they drilled a hole down 35 feet and popped through the top, dropped the lipstick camera down, got a picture of it.
Mm.
Well, I don't think I douse. But I'm a lot better today than I was a month.
Josh was looking for not Indian, I guess now, whatever. I forget what tribes of it. So he's over in Utah, so it's probably, I know he's in the Utah. It's like one of the more secular tribes, but I'm going to find it. It was so cool. Like he really told like a lot of ancient history like passed down, but I'm going to keep playing this one while I look for it. It's not too far because I know who made it, so worst case I can find it through that, but I just needed to pause it for a second anyway. Yeah, so I left the title there, but yeah, basically talking about underground Nephilim or giants, and they have found mummies in Utah, and actually the people were interviewed by the same guy, and they turned him over to the Smithsonian, and they disappeared basically. So don't do that. Okay, let's see.
Month ago, and a month before that, and a month before that, I get better all the time.
Yeah.
It used to be really difficult for me to douse something that was a small target, like 50 pounds. It's not now, but something that was like tons or 1,000 pounds wasn't so bad. Now I can get the small stuff too. It doesn't matter. So anyway, that's anything else on the Brewer Cave. I'm going to give you the location of it today.
Okay.
And it's just for you. I'm not going to give
Yeah, yeah. Yep. So a lot of stories about Brewer Cave, what was in there. We had the bark, one of the boxes that came out there tested between 50 and 350 BC. You had some artifacts tested.
Yes.
Tell me about them artifacts that you had tested, and
I had a lead plate. I still have it tested. That came out of the Brewer Cave with 3 other lead plates and then 4 rectangles. They're probably floating around the web someplace. And Frank Aon in Santa Fe, New Mexico he's a forensic specialist. I could even.
So I think, okay, so the guy that's interviewing him, I would recommend his style. He's awesome. His name is Terry Carter. I just found him a couple months ago and kind of started listening to some stuff. But he travels around and interviews people, so it's all like on foot, firsthand knowledge. But that the way he sounds, kind of a little bit of an accent, I guess, like Jeff Foxworthy almost sounding. That's like a Utah sound. It sounds like my grandpa and like his brother. Not anybody that lives in like the city or anything, and it's not really younger people anymore. Maybe I don't know any, but yeah, it's kind of funny. It's like he's like sounds like he's in between my grandpa's and my mom's age or something, But yeah, I notice it more now that I'm talking. Hopefully I don't have it. I don't think I do. That'd be rude, but I don't notice it as much until I start hearing so many accents from other people around, like U.S. and world on YouTube, and then you kind of start even like recognizing it in your own area, But okay.
I'm pretty sure I have a copy of that.
I think I have a copy of that.
Okay, and it's authentic.
He said it was ancient.
Yes, ancient. Mm-hmm. So, what can you say? Say they're all wet? I don't think so.
What else did? What's some of the stories that Brewer told you about inside the cave while he was excavating it, and things that happened? What he's seen? How long it took him? How long was he down in there? Why did he keep on? I mean, I listened to Brewer's story, and there's not a lot of people who would do what he did. It was like he knew something and he was driven.
He was tenacious. He was a doer.
There was not many people in this world who will do what he did, and that's why he got to see what he got to see, but it destroyed his life. So tell me about that.
Well, he went there and he did the digging, and then he could see the opening, but it was kind of like a drop off. You couldn't get to it, like a cave that went in and then get clear over here. So he rigged some equipment to do that. It's still on the site. So he dropped down and hung on to the rope and made it over to there. And then once he got in, he could see the stairway that went down. And so he very carefully, walked down the stairs. And then one of them was like a shaft. It was a trick. So if you missed it, you'd end up. Okay. And then also, before that, it was something that was carved round like this and highly polished. It was really big. And it went into a shaft. And if you slip on that, you won't ever. You're gone. That was a trap to keep you out. Once you got through that, then you still had to go. He had to have been a tenacious son of a gun.
Heck yeah.
All by himself?
Yeah.
He's gutsy.
Yep.
Okay, I gotta find the hotkey. So yeah, that is very brave because I've gone in some more like slot canyons than caves. I've been in a couple of caves, and there's one in Utah that's a crater, And so it's like natural spring water, you know, and it's really, I don't know, if anybody hasn't been in one of those, I highly recommend it. It's almost like the ions, you know, they interact with like your negative and positive ions in your body, and it's like heals you, and you can almost feel it. It's like, doesn't feel like you have any body when you're in that kind of water. It's like you're just so comfortable. But it is kind of interesting to look. You kind of climb through a little cave, it's not very far, and then they've taken the top off and put almost like a strainer type, you know, kind of thing, so that dirt and bugs and everything doesn't come into it, but you can see the sun, so it's not scary. But I don't know how they find some of these things. Like, I guess when they maybe start to construction, but and then they just finally keep going and going. But even when I was on a camping trip a couple weeks ago, and I just went through actually a man-made cave, and halfway you get through it, and I would say it's probably, gosh, it's hard for me to estimate distance, but not as far as football, probably like 150 yards. But, you know, it's kind of winding, you're stepping on uneven rocks. Like, that's a little bit slow. And then you get about halfway through and you realize you're basically standing under an entire mountain that has now compromised foundation due to their little experiment to make a little pathway through it. It's like, is that one little tiny shift in the, you know, in the land and like the fault or something? Oh, it's over. But, you know, we do weird things sometimes. All right, let's see. I've not seen the one yet, so I'll just go to the channel, but I'm going to let this finish out. So I was thinking he was the native guy at first that I had seen. Obviously, he's not. I don't know if he's meaning to speak with the community, but he's some kind of working on this cave. I don't even know what they're doing with this cave, the brewer cave. Sounds like they're grabbing out that precious stone he's talking about. That's 9.8 hardness, but I'm not positive about that. I've been kind of listening, but when I look further, so I can't really pay attention to both. Okay.
And so they got through that, and then he got down in there, and it was a lot of there was records, other records there too, and so he looked at them and he took some out. Yeah, that's all I know.
So I know that the majority of the pictures floating around on the internet of John Brewer stuff came directly from you. The majority of them came from you.
Yeah.
And you know, so one of the things on there is because, and I know that because you gave me a copy of them years and years ago. You know, and I appreciate that.
A lot of people don't want to mention my name ever because they want to glorify themselves and self-aggrandizement. I'm not looking for that. But yeah, most of them came from me.
The majority
most of them came from Brewer to me.
Yeah. So there was one in there that showed the drawing of the inside of his cave, and it showed that kind of a death trap thing right there.
Oh yeah.
Right at the bottom of the stairs. If you didn't know, I'm assuming at one time, you know, that it was covered with some sticks or cloth or, you know,
it may have
been dirt, so that if when you hit that bottom step, you didn't know that was a trap, man, you fell to your death.
Oh, you would.
And so you know, there was things like that, but I'm sure that thing would already been triggered when he got into it, because he found it, you know, thousands of years later when it was put there, you know.
He did.
But and I'm sure the Indians had found it and got in there before him.
They usually cover them up because it's taboo.
Yeah. So do you know, did he ever try to explore that bottomless hole, that death trap thing? Do you know if, you know?
I don't know what he did. He may have bridged it with something and left it there. It's just been a long, I don't know. So, but he was a tenacious son of a gun to do what he did.
I don't know. There ain't
very few people
would spend the time to do what he did And that's why he found what he did, is because he spent the time. Most people would have given up.
Yeah, I think he was destined to do that.
I 100%. I believe he was destined to do that.
Yeah, I think so.
There is not many people that spend the time to do what he did.
Well, now for whatever purpose, it's going to be in your hands. You want to be careful. The system could shut the whole thing down, and John Q. Public would see nothing. You need to video it first, take pictures.
Oh, 100%. It needs to be shared with the world.
Yeah, so you got that ahead of time and multiple copies.
Yeah.
Because I know they'll do that. You kids, they will not let that information out. For one thing, there's these crystal balls in there, crystal spheres strewn around, and there's these little cups in there. They're solid with a little depression in the top. And if you stick one of those crystal balls on one of those cups, it'll light up and glow.
Really?
Mm-hmm. If there's still thorium left in it. And I know how that works.
That's pretty awesome, huh?
I've even seen that.
That's cool. Like how, we kind of figure that. Let me go back on here for a minute. That ancient civilizations more than likely had to have some kind of electricity or illumination, because I don't know. And then just knowing like all the things they were capable of building. Like we have all the things they built, but where are all the things they built them with? And that's where it lends to a partnership between, our star-faring friends, and actually they called them I forget, I won't try to misquote, but I just watched the video like yesterday or the day before it. The Sun people or something. I don't know, I'll look back. I watched so many of these videos and I have a hard time keeping them organized, but I think I'm going to go on from this one because I did find, I believe the one that I was really fascinated by, there was like secrets of the native chiefs that were passed down, and he was sharing them because he realized they were trying so hard to bury and kind of hide this history. No, I didn't mean to do that. So he was like, well, so anyway, let me just pull it up. I mean, he was still respectful, like, to his commitments, but a lot of stuff. Let me find it. I just barely saved it, so I'm going to stop the camera and then keep playing this, and then once I find it, I'll switch over.
A NASA scientist demonstrated.
Really?
Les Matthews. He showed it to me and Stephen Jepson and Donnell Adair over there in the.
See how you throw out names? Like
he took he had a looked like a pen.
Hold on, my bad.
That's all. On the end, it looked like an eraser.
Probably can't hear me when I try to talk over people, but I think when people start throwing out names and stuff, it's like, this is a hometown thing. They're probably more than likely being honest. I mean, usually you don't bring other people in your lives you're like to like, but I mean, he found all these things because he worked in the industry, and if it was just him, that's one thing, but this area, and in fact like the Four Corners area in general, it's still so undiscovered. That's why I want to go and just see, but I'm not that brave, and so I need like a skilled person. But I think it would be fun to document it and just, you never know. Okay, let me play it again.
But it was a crystal, and he pressed something, slid it up, and it glowed brighter than any LED you'll ever see.
Really?
And I said, Les, what is that? That can't be an LED. And he said, hell no, it's not. He says, no LED will get this bright. He said, that's an emerald. He says, you know how nuclear works? I said, yeah. You have beryllium and boron. Beryllium speeds up the neutrons, and the boron slows it down. That's the modulator. And he says, all that emerald crystal is beryllium crystal. And he says, I have a little BB-sized piece of plutonium at the top, and when they come together, it lights it up. That's their source of light. There's technologies that you're dealing with that I don't think they want to come out, and that would be hushed up if they did excavate it. Just keep that in mind. I've done my research.
Yeah.
And but anyway, it'll be interesting.
So I know that Brewer was always looking for a big repository on the west side of the valley here, because he found a map.
There is one.
He found a map in his cave that said so, and you talked about that.
He had a map, and I don't have that map, that shows 7 locations. Okay, and he tried.
Sorry, hold on 1 second. I've got this noise. I think I have 2 YouTube. I feel like I'm in a nightmare. Hold on. One. Okay, I'm gonna switch over screens because I found the one with the tribal elder. That was really cool. I was like, let me I think it's pulled up already. Let me see. Yeah. I forget what tribe it he'll say. I was talking about the Egyptians, okay? So I think most people now know, well, most people that are interested in the subject anyway, that trying to go back to my stream tab. Okay. That the ancient Egyptian artifacts have been found in the Grand Canyon in that area, but a lot of people don't realize like how close, like the Grand Canyon, Page, Arizona, and then it's right on the corner of New Mexico, Colorado, yeah, and Utah. So they are like literally like 4 corners all touch, and right there, I've actually put my hand and feet, and you go like put one hand in one state, one hand in the other, 1 foot in one, and one the other. It's like kind of cool. It's like a cheesy like tourist moment, but done it. So anyway, right there is where they have like a lot of, I think that, well, the Hoover Dam's like closer to that, but anyway, they have a lot of mining and like gold, and then they have a lot of really cool natural formations in the land, obviously the Grand Canyon, and then in southern Utah, it's the Arches National Park, all those really interesting red rock structures. So yeah, but beyond that, buried underneath all that is history. So they like constantly finding more and more, and recently found obviously that ancient Egyptians were either there too, or Pangea was more like in line then. That's an option that we could consider, but the land was so connected. So I don't know. But I'm gonna travel over. But why Utah? It's so far. You know what I mean? Why would I stop from like, I don't know. It's interesting. Okay, let me play this now. I guess I don't know. I opened 2 tabs and it's not gonna go like through hell and like start over stuff. It's gonna get a mouse though. Oh wait, I forgot. I don't know why this went away. Oh, I need to add it back. I rewind it, so okay. This is his intro. He's funny. Very funny. Yeah, check him out. He's cool. Got a lot of just goes around interviews people and works with
So you actually think the Egyptians or the Egyptian-like people were here? Because I've ran across some people who have found some Egyptian artifacts in Colorado and Idaho. The Egyptian belt you're talking about, there was one found in the mountains east of Provo. In Nevada, there was some found. And then, the stories of the Egyptians in the Grand Canyon. And then I have a friend that found some Egyptian hieroglyphs, along at Lake Powell, which would have been along the Colorado River. So it's interesting you'd say that. So you think there was
an interesting thing that's kind of.
Yeah, so Lake Powell is a place that I've been several times. It's a really pretty canyon with like gorgeous blue water in it. So it's definitely like a wakeboarding, because Utah and these states, mostly Utah, I would say, it's kind of more of like a boating, camping, snowmobiling, it's more of an outdoors kind of place. So a lot of people have boats. Like I grew up with boats. My grandma, we always had hers, and parents had boats. So it's just kind of like something that you do, and then you just go to different reservoirs, lakes in Lake Powell. It's a little bit further because it is like in he said Colorado. I mean, it's in Arizona. I don't know. You just drive south. I don't know that, but but it's really pretty. So, it's kind of weird when you hear these stories that are so close to me. That's what makes me want to go explore. But I mean, I probably can't find anything. I don't know. Maybe go talk to people that have. Let's see.
It kept quiet is mummifying bodies was Egyptian. And they found a few scattered around the world, basically. The second largest place they found mummified bodies is in the old Utah Territory.
Really?
And they found them from the highest caves to clear down in New Mexico and stuff.
They were mummified.
And very few on this continent, yeah.
Really?
Mummified out of the old original Utah Territory.
Really?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Utah was an Egyptian. There's history on him.
Huh.
That was a man, but his name, and you've probably seen it, his name was spelled P-T-A-H. But the P was pronounced as a U. Utah.
Huh.
So I don't know what Brigham and them knew. But he knew this was the Utah Territory.
Huh.
How crazy is that? So it just makes me think. So it's like, because they did name their ships coming from like Europe. There was one named Idaho. One named, what was the other one? It was either Nevada or like Colorado, but it was one of the names of the states right here. But I didn't realize Utah. I don't know. Maybe I saw this part and didn't hear that. Like Utah was an Egyptian, pronounced PT. But yeah, see, these are like, you gotta be careful you give this evidence to, or at least give it several sources, because they're quick to hide it. They don't want people to know. But it's interesting. It's really interesting.
And the Utah Territory is part of Wyoming, Nevada, clear down in
California.
Oh, that's what it was called. The other ship was called Wyoming.
Colorado.
Yeah.
Now, I think that was originally called Utah's territory. See, that day was up Turncrick, and Dad got in a talkative mood. Boy, we should have been older, because I was only 12 then. He said the Red Ledges was the biggest and longest worked mine, biggest, richest, and longest worked mine in this area. That was worked originally by the Egyptians.
Really?
He said the front of the Red Ledges, where you see all the ledges now, was just like the back of the Red Ledges till it caved in. So that was massive. He said it just sloped down in the front the same as it sloped in the back till it all caved in. And an earthquake caused it. And he said it didn't cave in because it was shabby mining. It was mined very well. But the earthquake stopped it. He said there was lots and lots of people killed in there. So they worked that mine year round. And said they'd done their smelting inside the mine. Old Indian down in the basin that he used to talk to a lot. He stopped in the lodge a lot. Henry was his name. He confirmed that the Egyptians were here.
Really?
Now, according to Ben, the one over the Egyptians here spent almost all of his life here. And he said he was the great uncle to the child king, Tutmosis, Sheila, or whatever his name is. And I think, I'm not sure, but I think he said the Egyptian here, name was Tutmosis or something like that, but the beginning of it was the same.
So have you heard, do you think then there's a lot of Egyptian artifacts around here that have been hidden up or not talked about, or?
Well, I think so. There's a lot of artifacts that's hid by people. They don't want
found them, and they don't tell people about it. Yep, You're right.
Yeah, there's a guy out here in the basin that's got quite a few that's just as old as that plate is. That plate's old.
Huh.
That plate, you see, and what makes me wonder the most is what was that plate doing here?
Yeah.
That is of moved.
So when you're talking a plate, we're talking it's kind of a bowl shaped a little bit. I mean, it's a plate, but the edges come up and it's copper, made out of copper or brass or something like that. It has some intricate designs and carvings and stuff in it.
Yeah, it's got kind of an Aztec style carving around the edge.
Yeah.
But then it's got that hieroglyph or whatever you want to call it in the center that tells the story.
Huh.
But there's another bowl found of that. Don't know if you've seen it or not.
No, I didn't see it. Yeah, I only knew the one
mixed.
Oh, really? Yeah, I only knew the one.
The sacred flower of
India.
Mu.
Oh,
it was the water lily.
Ah.
What the hell was it called? But it's on the bowl.
Really?
It's 8-petaled flower.
Was it found near the same area, you think, or just
same place this plate was?
Really?
Then there was a like a box with a setting in it, but the box was made of wood with the glass face on it. You could lift it up, and the glass was smoky, natural gas, like back in Ohio, till they learned how to make glass. And the glass on it was smoky glass, natural glass. There's none of that around here in Oa, but they used to mine it in Ohio, and your pilgrims or whoever, people then looked out their foggy window. But then the sides of that lid were etched in, filled with gold.
Oh, really?
And gold preserves wood.
I didn't know that.
I think that's part of why that design was there, but it was a good, intricate design too, but it had been filled with liquid gold and hardened. Interesting. And the deal, the whole thing is...
yeah, it's just kind of... It's so random, like, where they would find stuff, but I guess because when you get out there and you see, like, in real life how vast it is, I mean, you can kind of understand why people haven't done it. But it's still, there's so much information to be uncovered there that it's kind of like, well, why are we doing it, But like the other guy was saying, you have to be pretty brave, and not only for your, like, physical safety, but then you kind of have the eyes on you, and and that's real for sure.
Inside that little box, just thin, and it was a little wider on top and narrowed down. It's pretty. It was the lotus. The lotus flower was the only thing in there, and it was the flower. So it's interesting. That was also found in the same cache. There's I think the White Ledge area or creek is fairly important. See, and it's kind of interesting. The Indians got the mineral rights back to different little spots in the area out through here later. And the Indians owned the mineral rights to Red Ledges now. And they had two sections from just south over it.
They bought it from the half-breeds or
they got it signed back over to them from the government.
Oh, okay.
Then they got a section up on Tabby Mountain. It's kind of interesting, and
my microphone is
that shows on the maps. If you get the right maps.
The laptop too. Hang on, I'm going to put my AirPods in.
Dad knew a lot about
I called him AirPods the other day on accident. My kids made fun of me for
and it's him that said,
oh my gosh.
The Red Ledges were the longest worked, richest mine in the whole area.
Oh, wait. Can I hear AirPods?
And the Egyptians.
Yeah, I need to put my AirPods in.
That's interesting for me to hear that.
I can't hear the video at all.
And he didn't BS. In fact, he knew a lot. His family lived out.
Isn't that crazy? I mean, look at that. Let me see why I can't hear it. Volume. Oh no. I'm just gonna. Okay, wait, go back.
Out here before the reservation was ever opened.
Oh, really?
They was out here in 1899.
Like when they're okay, let me see him.
4 or 5 hours.
Wow.
But I said, okay, what about the big battle? Because the young one just leaving and come back and pick him up.
Hold on. Give me a good one. Is that a saw? Oh, a microphone? Oh, I'm like, is that a saw? Okay, no, like, I'm so sorry. I literally was like on the private chat or whatever, you know what I mean? And then I didn't even see comments, but okay, cool. I'm glad you guys are here. That's awesome. Yeah, I wasn't even planning on doing this, but then I was sitting on StreamYard forever because not talking, but like invited up to go on TC, and I was like, no, and I finally did. And then she's like, hold on, let me check the rain, and then she puts me in the back for like 30 minutes, and then it goes away. I'm like, well, I'm able to play around on StreamYard now for a minute, even though I canceled my thing, but I'm just gonna take it down and then put it back up because I couldn't hear it at all. Let me see. You guys might not even be here anymore, but hopefully you come back. I'm so dumb. Okay, wait. Stop sharing. Oh my gosh, really? Okay. Now I'm like, what the hell I want? Let's see. Okay. 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 Oh, okay. I see. One second. I had those headphones on. My teeth. In my mouth. All right. Let me switch over to my AirPods real quick before I keep playing it, just so I can make sure I can hear it. And then I'll come back on to it. Just 1 second. I'm just gonna. Okay, I think it sounds. So let's see what happens. If not final or speak in a that's watching, can you guys tell me if you can hear me better? One second, I gotta figure out why. Oh, am I not sharing it? Oh, wait, no.
And you know, that shows on the maps, if you get the right maps, but see, Dad knew a lot about this country, and it's him that said the Red Ledges were the longest worked, richest mine in the whole area. And the Egyptians mined it first.
Wow.
That's
Okay, I don't know if you can hear me now. Oh my God, what?
And he didn't BS.
Huh.
You know, in fact, he knew a lot.
That option, but
His family lived out here before the reservation was ever opened.
Oh, really?
They was out here in 1899.
Ah.
From the church.
Huh.
They was out here watching things.
Huh.
He said when the ledges fell, it killed lots of people and mules. And
wow.
They had tracks. He said the Red Ledges, the Egyptians. He said the Egyptians were the first to mine, and they went in on the hot, when the mountains raised, which surprised me then because they still tried to teach us a lot. The mountains didn't raise, everything washed away and left them here, which is impossible.
I was on the microphone with before.
We wouldn't have any oceans.
So it sucked. And then now,
you know how many zillions of tons it would be from Ogden to Provo?
Yeah.
But he said when the mountains raised, there was a big river of red, heavy clay.
I was trying to figure it out. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to get back in just one second. I was just
that was hot from down underneath.
Figure out which one.
Flowed out the side.
Why don't they don't all work it out?
And it was clear full of nuggets. And he said the Egyptian.
Okay. So, obviously this is very long, but I'll probably just play it for like another 10 minutes or so, maybe till like, yeah, right on the hour, 8 o'clock my time. So probably 9 and 10 Central Eastern. But I really like this subject, and I have more videos on it too. So I'll come back later, do it like a part, you know, organize a little better, and then get a little sleep. Okay, let's see. But I'll play it again for a while. And I think this guy's all about sharing information, so that's helpful too, since I got that strike last time. Or no, there's a warning, but basically, yeah. I'll be back on in the camera in a minute too.
Egyptians followed that river in.
So they
said it was clear full of nuggets.
So the nuggets were in the red clay.
Yeah, washed out from deep. He said it was a flowing river of hot red clay.
Huh.
And he said that it was clear full of nuggets from bigger than your fist to smaller than your little fingernail.
Huh.
And the Egyptians followed that in. When they got in there, above them, and where that river flowed out, was all conglomerate rocks, which shows. And the pressure pushed gold into the rocks also. Very rich in a lot of gold. You know, any vein of gold or anything in the rocks was hot at one time and was pushed there.
Right.
Pressure. Then it got solid. But he said that's what they went in on. Now, Henry verified that the Egyptians were here first to India.
Huh.
And Yeah, I think he said to get his great uncle of the child, King Tut, was in charge of it.
Huh.
And he spent basically his whole life here.
That's interesting because that Egyptian egg that was found in Pocatello, Idaho, had King Tut's high priest signature on one side and his cartouche of his name on the other. And that was found in 1918, and they never broke into King Tut's tomb till 1922. Didn't even know what that cartouche and all that would look like.
That big road trail and started settling in Oregon and Idaho. That's right on the old Egyptian trail.
Really?
Now, according to Henry, there was 3 main trails that the Egyptians came in on. They sailed up the Mississippi River to the area of St. Louis now and came across. They had 2 on the West Coast, Monterey, California, and Portland, Oregon, the Egyptians. And the Monterey, California, you could go down through this country, but he said they preferred going across northern Utah and then down the San Fernando Valley because they had feed and water and everything and didn't have to cross the desert. And he said that more Egyptians, more Spanish, when they got the place learned and knew, went and came from the West Coast than they did down here. No deserts.
So just kind of Henry learned it from family.
It's pretty crazy, huh? Because they do. I mean, they have all the same little shapes and everything. And yeah, so, and I was watching all these when I was like in that area, so it was kind of surreal. And I stayed up super late watching the sky and everything. I was like, oh my gosh. And I'm just, yeah. I won't even like go into that too much because, you know, everybody that says anything that they like saw is like, oh, okay. And I can't say it's not anything like extremely like detailed but it was just a different kind of sky movement than like what I'm used to. Just the way things are just kind of moving a line up and then drop down so fast, and it was just weird. It's kind of fascinating to me. So, okay, we'll keep going here. But yeah, it's crazy because the Grand Canyon one, it's like, oh, they found it, but they only allow, people that are certified and archaeologists or clearance and all these things, right? Because it's like so protected. But these, I mean, even when my family and I were camping in that area, when you go on like a little hike or something, like you're the only people. So these were just found. I mean, just let's check out what's over here. I'm like, what the crazy. Let's see. Oh, Lionel. Okay. Yeah, I will. I'm gonna come back on in just 1 second. I've just been sitting here for a while, so I had to like get up and get water and then just kind of do a couple real quick. But I will be back within like 5 minutes. I'll play it again and then I'll come back on the next one that I stopped at. And thank you, that's interesting topic. Oh, I'll take that down too.
Like oral history, oral traditions, how did he know about the Egyptians?
Probably a lot from the oral traditions. You see, the big battle, which is interesting, does have to do with the gold. From Bend Mountain that day we was talking. We talked 4 or 5 hours.
Wow.
But I said, okay, what about the big battle? Because when I mentioned a mission there, he's starting to get a little irate. He let me know that was not a mission. That was Kingsman House. Only one mission. I said, all right, tell me about the big battle then that happened between the Indians and the Spaniards that you guys won. Well, he was happy to talk about that. I said, how did you get that orchestrated to take over the Spanish? And he said at that time there was about probably, the way he talked, well, maybe this and probably this, and I said, how many Spaniards were in here at that time? And he said, oh, maybe about 3,200.
Wow.
And I said, how many Indians were here at that time? And he said, oh, when the battle started, maybe 1,800 Indians.
Wow.
I said, well, how did you manage that? And he said, well, all the time before, Spain man, he called him Spain man, could kill Indians, but we couldn't kill any of them. If the Indian killed any Spain man, they tried to kill all of us.
Yeah.
He said, so they got together when they getting too many in here and killing too many Indians, and I'm sure they killed a few just for the fun of it.
Probably.
They sent a runner out. The Shoshone tribe sent a runner out. And they made up a bunch of little ropes. And they had knots tied in them all. And they sent 3 runners. One went to the northwest, one went to the north, one went to the northeast. And they went to these different tribes with the ropes, and they'd leave a rope at the tribe, and every day they'd untie one of the knots, the runner would. And when they left, they told them what they wanted to do. Then they left the rope there. Well, then, boy, they must have had quite a few knots in it. And I don't know what they used for a rope either, whether it was fiber or
probably made out of fiber somehow.
And then the Indians started moving in slow, not noticed in this whole area. And Dad confirmed that.
Oh, yeah?
Too, mentioned something about it before bed. They moved into this area slow, unnoticed. When they undone the last knot, they all attacked the next morning. And them foxholes over there that are mentioned by Treasure Hill, is where the Spanish dug in to fight the Indians. And then there's some more of them up in Pigeon Water, where the big canyon goes up, partway down Pigeon Water. There's some more on that hill there. That's where the Indians dug in. And caught, because when the battle started, everybody headed for the Treasure Hill and Rock Creek. And the Indians were in the foxholes there that they'd learned of it. But I think the Spanish had them holes already dug for protections of whatever they're doing in there.
Yeah.
Ben said they'd killed all the Spanish off down by the rivers and had Indians down there to where he said the king's men lived in good house, the workers lived in holes in the banker anywhere they could live. But he said they kept them from the water. And then he said they started he said people go crazy without water.
Yeah, right. Without water, you'll die, yeah.
He said white men think Indians sleep at night, but Indian don't sleep at night necessarily. And he talked, like where we was there, but Treasure Hill, that you got a flat across the creek there going east, and then the big hill coming down. And that same sandstone ledge goes around the bottom and up that canyon that was getting down under. And he talked about the Indians that killed up on there and stuff and took all the belongings. And I guess there's quite a few Spanish lived in there, so maybe that's kind of processing gold or something. But they lined them out under that ledge, and he said mostly squaws carried dirt down and dumped over the ledge and rock and covered them up. Said if you go over there now, he said now a few bones are starting to show.
Oh, really?
But I never did go over
there.
And then up where you drop down past the runaway truck lane, coming down the Pigeon Water there, and you see where a cat had been over in there, he said they also covered up a bunch of Spaniards there that they killed coming down the canyon trying to get down to protection of the big houses and guns. And he said they buried them there, but then some runoff started exposing the bones, so the Indians took a cat in and they done that covering them up, according to Ben.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, but he said that fight went on. He said a lot more Spain men could get away, but they're too greedy. They want to take
the gold with them, huh?
He said they tried to sneak out at night, but said they had everything blocked, and the Indian killed them.
Huh.
And he said that battle went on for maybe a little more than a month. He said they
really
tried to sneak out at night, and he said not many made it. More would have made it if they hadn't tried to take their heavy gold with them.
Really?
And he said they Quanah Flat and stuff, they had that all. And I says, is that why the machines will pick up little spots all through Quanah Flat and down below Sadie's down here? And he said, yeah, Indians just killed them and then buried the gold there. Little bits, a little bit more. So still buried there. He said a lot down below Sadie's Flat because everything came together there. He said easy to sabotage the Spain man there. So it's interesting, but according to Dad, they had that earthquake. He said that the ledges didn't cave in because it was shabby mining. He said they were very good miners and mined it very well. He said that the earthquake just brought it down, killed many, many people in there, and mules and lots of people. He said there wasn't Indians in the mines then. It was all they didn't have captives or slaves or anything. He said it was all Egyptians. And they used mainly the Portland and Monterey.
So what time do you think we're talking about that the Egyptians was in here? We're talking about BC? We talking,
I would think BC.
BC?
I would think BC.
Are we talking
now? According to Henry, he said that when I think he called him Tutmosa got old and wanted to be buried in Egypt, he went back there. Then when he got back there, he didn't like it there. He liked it here better. So he requested to be buried here. Well, he had to be part of that ruling class to even get his wish.
Yeah.
And he died in Egypt. They brought him back to Portland, Oregon, and brought him clear down here, and they buried him down below Vernal.
Really?
His main area was where a lot of the hieroglyphs was, up above Vernal, according to Henry, by the dry canyon, dry fork area where they were.
So you think them hieroglyphs or them there on McConkey's ranch and all that is part in
I think
Egyptian? I mean, it looks Egyptian or Aztec or something, and it doesn't look like regular Indian.
When I asked Henry about that too, I haven't seen much of them. I was only over there once. And he said most of them ain't Indian. And that's all he said. But he requested to be buried back here. Henry said it took him 7.5 years to bury. So they brought him back and they buried him down below Vernal, where he wanted to be buried, and they kept hitting so hard a rock that they couldn't dig through it. And with the royalty, had to be precise. All the tomb had to be so deep, so wide, everything.
Okay, whoops, if I went that a little too far. I know. I'm sorry. Yeah, I walked away and then let's see, from the last comment to the next. Yeah, it was quite a ways. Sorry, my bad. I'm gonna, yeah, let me do a different one actually. So Let me just go back to, I just opened a new tab for it. I figured out like that works a little better, but they're all saved. Let me see here. I was actually looking at them for a while earlier. Okay, let's see. Trying to figure out which ones looked interesting, and let's see. So we just watched that. Okay. So this is actually the one that I was wanting to click on in the first place, and not that guy. But I mean, the ancient Egyptians are cool. What just happened? They keep pulling it. Freaking ancient Egyptian one. No. Hold on a second. Okay, wait. Let's see what this is. I just saw that it popped. I think because I'm looking into all these different kinds of subjects that are similar. It's the one about from Vice News, the rise of the Moors. We want our own nation. So let's see. I haven't seen it yet, so we can watch together. Let's see what it's all about. Okay. Oh, okay. Let's see. Share this tab instead. That's for that one. And I know I did say I was coming right back on here on the camera too, and I am, but I'm distracted. So hold on one second. Am I in the right spot? Okay. I'm sorry, like it wasn't 30 minutes. No, now you're overdoing it. No, it was probably like at least 10 though. That's too long. Okay, let's do this and see if this size will change it. But I just saved it because of the name, and then I like Vice stuff, but probably because I'm researching like native, like ancient land, whatever. But I don't know that much about them more. So my guess is that these people don't either, but we'll see.
The thing I like about this neighborhood is every single house seems to have its own little bit of charm. Just being a single woman trying to compete with a lot of these couples, I lost out on about 13 houses before I came across this one. When I walked in the door, I was like, this is my house. So whatever I can do to get it, I'm gonna get it. You guys, I'm not even kidding. This is the literal SWAT team that was called.
Shanetta Little was finalizing construction plans on her first home when a stranger changed the locks and told her that the house she bought was actually his.
They call themselves
I thought I was
Moors.
unmuted.
They basically say that they have ancestral rights due to a lot of treaties and tribunal law, that they have rights to the land here.
So you buy this place, you have this amazing vision for it, and all of a sudden you get a letter?
Yes. I got 2 letters, actually. The first one I got from Jaleel Hugh L. There were like seals and fingerprints and signatures basically saying that my home was on someone else's ancestral lands. I ignored it the first time, and they sent me another letter saying because I didn't respond, now we own this house. The third time was basically when all shit hit the fan. So they sawed off the locks, put their own locks on. He's now occupying the home.
How do they get him out of the house?
Oh, they busted the door down and they basically dragged him out. And it was really scary. Like, I applied for a gun license. I got pepper spray, knives.
Wow.
It was really traumatizing.
Police officers still reeling from a deadly attack. 3 officers were shot and killed.
The manhunt is on for this man, a career criminal considered very armed and very dangerous.
In recent years, isolated and random incidents of violence, fraud, burglary, and squatting committed by Moorish extremists have put Moors on the radar of law enforcement nationwide.
A Newark home taken over by an alleged extremist group that not only changed the locks, but actually claimed ownership over the property.
The man who occupied Shanetta's home was never charged and still maintains the land belongs to him. We did our best to speak with him, but he demanded to be paid. So that interview didn't happen. But we did find a video he posted about the incident online.
This is actually a claim on not the house itself, it's actually the land.
It just so happened that the house is on top of it. If she did not come up so belligerent and so angry and so aggressive, we would have sat her down, explained to her what's going on.
So, what is going on? Historically, Moors are renowned as an incredibly powerful and influential group of North Africans. They once controlled an empire that included modern-day West Sahara, Algeria, Tunisia, and Spain. But many Moors believe that the Moroccan Empire expanded all the way to the Americas, making all Black people ultimately indigenous to an America that predates the United States altogether. For most of the 1 million Moors across America today, that's just their origin story. Many attend one of the official Moorish science temples and peacefully study their own Quran. But for others,
What? Hold on, what's going on? Where's that weird light? I don't know what's happening. Let me see if I can. Oh, light on. I don't know. I feel like there's like a light behind me. Okay. Let me see. Is it? Oh, it's the shiny. Okay, I see. It's shining on the middle reflection. Oh my God. Okay. I don't know what the video happened to it. So the Moors are claiming their ancestral land and taking the locks off. I didn't understand how they could do that. Maybe I'll explain it. I kind of walked away for a second. I could hear it. So they're taking this lady's house, and then now they're considered a figure. I'm going to go back just a tiny bit because I do want to hear that.
there's more. What is going on? Historically, Moors are renowned as an incredibly powerful and influential group of North Africans. They once controlled an empire that included modern-day West Sahara, Algeria, Tunisia, and Spain. But many Moors believe that the Moroccan Empire expanded all the way to the Americas, making all Black people ultimately indigenous to an America that predates the United States altogether. For most of the 1 million Moors across America today, that's just their origin story. Many attend one of the official Moorish science temples and peacefully study their own Quran. But for others, it's more than just a religion. Their indigenous identity means land rights, citizenship, and living under U.S. laws are all called into question.
Why is that not the first thing you want to do? Realign yourself with your ancestry. Realign yourself with the great God Allah. Realign yourself with your birthright and your culture.
So I want you to write this down so that for anyone who thinks they can challenge this information, it's available. And all scholars know this stuff.
Look up and be more enlightened to what's out there.
There are many independent, nonviolent Moorish organizations across the U.S. who believe they were colonized and that state laws shouldn't apply to them. One of them is the Rise of the Moors.
Disruptive and combative. They're all members of the Rise of the Moors, an anti-government sovereign citizen movement.
This is a group that does not believe it needs to follow the law.
Jaleesa and her husband are founding members of this Rhode Island-based group who believe that the state doesn't have jurisdiction over them.
You all have been called sovereign. You all have been called anti-government. Do any of those terms ring true?
No. Okay. Let me go back here. Sorry, it's on my eye. Okay, this is interesting. So I understand, like, being able to call your. Oh, I met all the comments again. Thanks. I know you're sweet. I love the winter time because I get to wear beanies all the time. It's so nice. But so I understand people can call themselves whatever they want, but to actually like be able to take stuff, I mean, how's that working? I can never get this thing straight. Okay, let's see what this lady has to say. I think he said she's a Moor, right? Oh shit, what'd I do? She got her house stolen. Unreal. I'm just gonna start from here.
Alleged extremist group that not only changed the locks, but actually claimed ownership over the property.
The man
claim or not the house itself.
That guy looks like
demanded to be paid. So
over by an alleged extremist group that not only changed the locks, but actually claimed ownership over the property.
The man who occupied Shanetta's home was never charged and still maintains the land belongs to him. We did our best to speak with him, but he demanded to be paid. So that interview didn't happen. But we did find a video he posted about the incident online.
This is actual claim or not the house itself. It's actually the land. It just so happened that the house is on top of it. If she did not come up so belligerent and so angry and so aggressive, we would have sat her down, explained to her what's going on.
So, what is going on?
Like
Historically, Moors are renowned as an incredibly powerful
down,
and influential group of North Africans. They once controlled an empire that included modern-day West Sahara, Algeria, Tunisia, and Spain. But many Moors believe that the Moroccan Empire expanded all the way to the Americas, making all Black people ultimately indigenous to an America that predates the United States altogether. For most of the 1 million Moors across America today, that's just their origin story. Many attend one of the official Moor science temples and peacefully study their own Quran. But for others, it's more than just a religion. Their indigenous identity means land rights, citizenship, and living.
I haven't been too into them, and I'm moving back over. So, but yeah, if my origin story hadn't been like basically kind of presented to me by my sister, getting it presented to her, because neither of us ever cared. But when her mother-in-law did it, you know, just because they do it for everybody in the family, like that gets married in or whatever, she was like, okay. So yeah, I never really cared either. I mean, it's interesting I find out, but to be honest, I researched like other topics or other cultures as much or more as I would like, you know, the Scandinavians or whatever. I mean, it's not like that big of a deal. Okay.
Living under U.S. laws are all called into question.
Why is that not the first thing you want to do? Realign yourself with your ancestry. Realign yourself with the great God Allah. Realign yourself with your birthright and your culture.
So I want you to write this down so that for anyone who thinks they can challenge this information, it's available. And all scholars know this stuff.
Look up and be more enlightened to what's out there.
There are many independent, nonviolent Moorish organizations across the U.S. who believe they were colonized and that state laws shouldn't apply to them. One of them is the Rise of the Moors.
Disruptive and combative. They're all members of the Rise of the Moors, an anti-government sovereign citizen movement.
This is a group that does not believe it needs to follow the law.
Jaleesa and her husband are founding members of this Rhode Island-based group who believe that the state doesn't have jurisdiction over them.
You all have been called sovereign. You all have been called anti-government. Do any of those terms ring true?
No, I think people like a good villain, and I think that it's really a lack of understanding of what we're doing.
What are the charges? What am I being arrested for?
Last summer, 11 members, including Jaleesa's husband Jamal, were arrested while en route to a militia training and camping trip. None of them could produce government driver's licenses or gun permits for their weapons.
Help me understand you all's.
So I'm going to try to find this story that I saw. It might be kind of too long now, but I saw a story of maybe 6 months, maybe a year. But there was a young kid in Utah. He was like in a BMW, and they told him to roll down his window, get my ID, and he just kept arguing, and they ended up like executing him. If he was any, in another area, in another body, I mean, that would have been like the end of the world. But I think maybe because it wasn't publicized a lot, but also because in Utah, it is pretty, the culture is like that of you have to like respect authority, follow the laws, even if you get in trouble. It's like, so I don't think a lot of people felt a lot of pity for him and see him more as like an entitled brat. And I'm not saying everybody is, and maybe they're right if they find loopholes, but it's just like people trying to be difficult. Like, it's just certain people are like that, and I really don't like people that just always want to make it hard, or they're like Eeyore, like oh, okay, life's hard, that kind of thing. It's like, oh my gosh, end of the world. You know what I'm saying? Well then, let's see.
Relationship with the United States of America.
We, Moors, don't have anything to do with United States government because we don't belong. We belong to the Moroccan Empire. We want to have our own separate nation, our own separate government, hospitals, towns, schools, daycares, our own police. We're getting our rights violated left and right on the streets constantly. Black History Month. What do they show on TV or in school? It's always so-called Black people getting the hose. getting mauled by dogs. It's nothing uplifting at all. It's never look at what you were, look at what you can be. It's always like, this is what you are and this is what you're always going to continue to be. It's a form of propaganda and brainwashing.
According to Jaleesa, the perfect storm of civil unrest, police violence, and systemic racism are attracting new members, people who are sick and tired of the status quo and frustrated at the treatment of people who look like them. What is it exactly that you all want?
Freedom, to not be oppressed, to not have life so hard to live, to just come together and establish our actual own government and our own everything.
Until then,
This
Moors
is
and non-Moors
humorous.
live side by side, sharing taxpayer-funded public resources. But in an effort to increase economic mobility and establish
Exactly.
precedent for autonomy,
Say it
Moorish
again.
nationals are
In the
leveraging
back.
lawsuits to further their
Taking, part in taxpayers, citizens, hard work, sacrifice, money, like really. And then, I mean, personally, even though I think they're like kind of lame, just, protagonists, I do. Oh, wait, let me turn my camera back on. I'll take this for just 1 second. Well, hi. But even though I think that they're kind of just annoying people, like period, but I think it'd be okay, go ahead and get your own government and your own military. Like, who are they gonna be able to beat? They can't even beat any country. Like, the most poorest country that has a military already, like, could probably beat them. I was like, what are you really hoping to accomplish? Because if you tell the U.S. government you don't want anything to do with them, and so they don't protect you, like, who in that group is like a military expert that's gonna head up and build a strong, like, it's so weird. I don't get, like, I get the point of wanting to be special and stuff, and even secular, that's fine. Nobody is stopping anybody from being secular. That's the thing people don't get. Like, you can just buy your own big plot of land and buy it, like, within each other, Name your town Moortown or whatever, nobody cares. But, like, to make this big stand and, like, we want freedom. We're not going to pay taxes. We don't have to have a driver's license. We don't have to listen to authority. Oh no, yeah, the car accident. Oh, somebody needs to pay. And like, oh, somebody hurt my kid. Like, we need them to find justice. Like, your people don't have all that to do it. You're gonna need it. There's this thing called the common good, and it's the only thing that works. Lionel, it's good to see you too. You have to catch me in a rant. All right, let's go. Get I don't have somebody kind of people. Everybody did that, and there's nothing. It's like they need to be the. Hold on, I'm talking over it. Let me though. And this is my problem with these kind of things. Okay, these are not just a difference of opinion. These are like anti-cis. Basically, in order for their little secular superiority like group and exclusiveness to work, everybody else has to do what we're already doing. Because if everybody did what they did, shit would just fall apart. There's nothing. So it's like saying rules for me, not for the whatever it's called. They think they are better than other people just innately with the way they want to be treated. So it's like, how can somebody look at you and say, okay, it's like if you are let me think of an example if I can. Like a thief. Perfect example. Like, when as kids don't get the big picture and it's like, oh my God, this or that. still here and there, and then if you get caught, you get reprimanded, but you still don't really understand why. It's like, okay, I didn't pay money and I'm supposed to pay money. You don't get that, like, if we're in a contract with each other where we want to be or not. And if every single person steals, then nobody pays. And then the next day, even, there's nothing left to steal. So it's not the only way you can continue stealing is if other people continue paying. And these are your neighbors, your coworkers, your family members. You're basically telling them, you go to hell and I get to live off of your work. And then they'll brag about it because these people are idiots and they don't get it. So they're like, no, I don't have to. I'm not going to. And they wonder why other people push back because, like, how the fuck are you? I don't know. It just annoys me. Like, how do they not get it? And not just them Moors, okay? I just barely saw this video for the first time. I was even comparing it like the thieves or, the people that, like, that don't pay the taxes. And, and everybody, maybe every so often, like, misses things or something. But if you're going above and beyond, like, offshoring and hiding accounts and everything else, just so you don't, but yet, you live in this nice ass area where streets are paved to gold. Then if you barely like snap your fingers, like the police are there and everything you need is there and you're safe. It's a little snug as a bug in a rug. I'm like, you're just living it up, but you're not paying in toward it. So you're basically like stealing from your own neighbors. You know what I mean? Like that's what bothers me. But anyway, okay, rant over. Hopefully that was long enough break for the more people here. Let's go. I think I played Dice before. It was fine. You 1 second. Okay. So, oh, I didn't put the thing back on. I'm sorry. Good thing I stopped it again so fast. Okay. Well, you don't say. These non-team players are also dealing fraudulently too. Oh, weird. They seem like so moral. I'm bad. Lionel, I got a mouse. Finally, but I keep forgetting to use it to see my arm because I'm a creature of habit. But yeah, I finally got one. And actually, I didn't even think about it. I was like passing by it yesterday to get my son an ether cord. I'm like, ooh, mouse, I need one. I'll get back in the habit of it, yeah. It's faster, more accurate, and it is nice not able to like lunge or and then just have my screen like my screen like vibrate back and forth reverberating from the the impact of my hand. All right, hold on. I don't know. These groups think that they're just going to be obliged, and like nobody's gonna find something. And not only that, then they got to take it into the criminal. Like they get so confident in their ability to like bamboozle people or even strong arm people and threaten them into like acknowledging them as whatever it is they say they are or how they are or what they what rules they had to follow. It's like almost not worth arguing. But then so they get so confident and then they just keep going and then start committing crime. It's like, thank you. Appreciate your ignorance. So we can shut this stupid shit down. Okay. And I'm not, people want to say they're Moors to get their own community. Like I said, that's fine. It's nothing to do with the Moors or who they are. It's just any type of entitlement type thing. Just be secular as you want, but be willing to actually pay for it. And, don't take from other people and then make an excuse why you don't have to pay. Shit. Okay. Oh my god, what just happened? Okay, that's annoying. Okay, we need to find the guy sitting in the chair. Where we at? Okay, a little bit more. Why is this stupid menu coming up so hard? Oh no, there he is. Okay. We have to have a serious meeting. Okay. He looks like a movie star. Like he could be a cop in the movie.
That just believes the
shit, I
rules
forgot
don't
about
apply
it
to them
again.
at all.
Okay, thanks.
Like that creates chaos.
There are now almost 3 million messages to the
Kinda,
government
I'm
to
like,
recognize Moors as a federally autonomous body of indigenous Americans. But that's not what most Moors want. And distinguishing themselves from that ideology has been a priority for the original Moorish Science Temple of America. There are Moors across the country. We know of groups in Rhode Island and New Jersey, but neither of those groups are part of the Moorish Science Temple of America, which are like the OG Moorish Americans. We came here to their headquarters to speak to the Supreme Grand Sheikh to see if he thinks these splinter groups are legit and if their practices are in line with their Moorish teachings. The Moorish itself has been on the receiving end of this tactic, which most often targets law enforcement.
All right, that's driving me so crazy. It keeps like resetting the timing. But sorry, I didn't realize I hadn't put the screen back up again. But this should be interesting. So now we get like the official Moor. I don't know. I mean, I didn't even know there was still official Moors around, to be honest, because Moors were so long ago. I didn't even think anybody identified them Moors anymore, but apparently they do. And then there's like the official ones, and then there's the self-proclaiming ones that are coming around too. And we kind of see that in a lot of different not even like race, but just groups, like LGBTQ even, or like some racial groups too. But we're seeing that a little bit more, and people trying to get like a little bit more gung-ho on their ideologies, and then they meet and so depending on how intelligent they are, they either meet other dumb people to do dumb things, or they meet smart people to do smart things. They do. A lot of people still identify them. Huh? Is this coming around new again though? Because like when I mean maybe it's because where I live, I don't know, but when I was growing up, I never heard anybody saying they were more like it's their background. Because weren't they Spanish anyway, or were they came from North Africa. What country was that again? Not you saying stuff. Well, it is, Lionel. How else can you prove that? You know what I mean? That you can't. So it has to be self-proclaimed. I mean, some might have DNA, but I don't think those people are the insecure ones that are causing problems. Okay. Let's see what he says. Why is it not playing?
Enforcement and court personnel. I'm wondering if you can walk me through what this is.
Wait, did it?
Yeah, so this is a lawsuit against 2 former police chiefs, a couple mayors, me, and this fella's opinion. These are all the people that he believes wronged him legally. So this is a lawsuit for $4 billion or
$4 billion
with a B. Yeah.
Have you seen an increase in the number of people claiming to be sovereign?
Yeah, there's definitely been an increase. Anytime you have an election where power changes, and especially if party changes, you have effectively half of the country that gets into a panic to varying degrees. Panic like that will often drive folks to these movements.
What threat do these folks pose?
When you have a subgroup that just believes the rules don't apply to them at all, like that creates chaos.
There are now almost 3 million messages to the government to recognize Moors as a federally autonomous body of indigenous Americans. But that's not what most Moors want. And distinguishing themselves from that ideology has been a priority for the original Moorish Science Temple of America. There are Moors across the country. We know of groups in Rhode Island and New Jersey, but neither of those groups are part of the Moorish Science Temple.
It's always interesting, like you can always tell a lot about a video by the other suggestions off to the side. Like when I forget to hit the big, to expand the screen, and it was like slaughterhouse and then, and then like some about slavery. And so it's like because it's all linking to this subject. I thought the Moors were like conquering. I don't know. I just always find that intriguing, even if I'm only gonna watch one video on something, but I'll always like kind of go down and see what it follows it, because then it'll tell me a lot about like the crowd, the audience of what I'm watching here, so or what like path it leads. Typically, it's interesting.
Temple of America, which are like the OG Moorish Americans. We came here to their headquarters to speak to the Supreme Grand Sheikh to see if he thinks these splinter groups are legit and if their practices are in line with their Moorish teachings. The Moorish Science Temple of America was founded in 1913 by Noble Drew Ali, who taught that all Black people were stripped of their national identity and Islamic faith through racist oppression. At its peak in the 1920s, it boasted upwards to 35,000 members who aspired to uplift a fallen humanity. We've come to Sunday school to learn from the 8th generation successor of Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the Supreme Grand Sheikh.
Welcome to today's Sunday School. I'm going to ask some questions first. Is a man white? Is a man Black? Man is not a color, period. Nationality was, is, and will always be what? The order of the day.
What are the principles that the Moorish Science Temple of America stand for?
So there's love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. However, we do have fundamental principles, and one of them is obedience to law. We're not encouraging members or anyone else to be involved in anything unlawful and disgraceful.
When the public sees Moors, it seems like they just lump you all into one group.
That's true.
But there are groups of Moors that don't comport themselves in the way that you all do. How do you reconcile that?
Okay, that's what's up. See, this guy's like, look, yeah, that's what I respect, because if you live in a country, you have to respect the laws. If you don't like the laws and you're lucky enough to live somewhere like the United States, where you can actually, try to lobby. That reflection's like annoying now. Okay, you can lobby to change them, or whatever, but you can't just like single yourself out and just think you're like exception to the rule, because it's not, anyway. Like for me, it's not like I'm judging someone like, oh, you're standing here doing things. No, it's like you're stealing like from us. Like that's what I don't get, is how they don't see how bragging about it, especially, it's like anyway. But this guy seems like he's like, because this is the real established group, and that's like, they have order, and we'll see. I mean, let's keep listening to him, but the law of the land is like what he is rebuting. Those other people are not in line with them about, so let's see. 35,000 is quite a bit. Did you see back in that? Oh, let me see what you put on this. Sorry. You said you don't care about this. You can see that from the channels how people feel about it. Yeah, and I mean, I get it, because you want to have some semblance of where your ancestors are from. That's just normal, natural. So in the United States, I think one misconception is that it's assumed that, oh wait, I'm gonna turn this back on again. I think it's assumed a lot of time that if someone's white, their whole ancestry, like from Adam and Eve, you know what I mean? Like, and we don't. I mean, most people don't know very much at all, So, like I said, I mean, until my sister told me this, and she would have never known either. If her like mother-in-law didn't just like do it, I figured like we were maybe Irish. I thought my mom's side might be Dutch because I knew my dad's side was kind of Irish, but turns out they're not very much Irish at all, And then my mom's side is Danish, so it's like I didn't know, but it didn't make a big difference. But then I find out some of the stories that were actually quite crazy, like how like several of them not knowing each other at the time, we're all part of like Joseph Smith and Brigham Young's like tight group, like, in the 10 dudes, like there were like 3 of them, you know what I mean? It's like, what? How come my family didn't pass that down? That's not that long ago. But nobody cares. So, I mean, and they don't know. My mom definitely didn't know anything. I don't think my grandma knew much at all, if anything either, or cared. So yeah, it's kind of. And so I'm like, maybe our generations do care more because I've been trying to tell my kids more of the stuff that I'm reading. But to be honest, probably just because it's on my mind because I'm reading it. And would I be on my deathbed like, listen, you have to know? Probably not. And I don't think people realize how many ancestors. It's so ridiculous. Like you have literally like tens of thousands of predecessors that because people think it goes like, it just kind of keeps going down this line and the way it populates, you can't even really do it on paper. The app that everybody should get, actually, I think it's called, let me type it in. Countdown and type it. It's called, I wish I could make that picture bigger. Let's go. What do I do? Yeah, so we met this guy and he was all decked out, and then I was like, oh, can we get a picture with you? Like, hell yeah. It's all about the Redskins too. My mom's been a fan of them since she was a kid. She would get so mad if they lost. Like, even when I was growing up, she was screaming and stuff. All right, let's see. Please go to family search tree. I better look and make sure before you give false information. Let me see. Family tree search. Let me just open them. Like, I mean, okay, it's hard to see on a phone, and I don't know how to do it on the computer, but like, I'm just gonna give an idea, okay? I don't know if you'll be able to see, and I'm just gonna go up in a few generations. Like, you really would never be able to pinpoint anyway. So, okay, so if you look here, like, you can kind of see the little dots, right? I'm the bottom one, and then I'm just clicking up one generation, and you see that goes to. But so basically, I clicked on, okay, like my dad, and then so like if you go like this, okay, so it's like my dad, his dad, so it'll go like this with the dads, but then they'll continue to have wives, and then each generation don't. So it keeps going more and more. So like, watch this. Okay, so this is just you can see all these little arrows, right? So maybe you can't, but each pair has another arrow above it, and you hit that arrow, and look, that's just them, okay? And some of them don't end. This is my dad's. They don't go very far. The Irish people, they didn't keep good records. They were poor. They were alcohol, probably like those Highlander people or whatever they talk about, or that Ebonics one that came from. But the redneck culture they talk about, that was like, them. So this one only went from my dad, my grandpa, my great grandpa, great 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 great, and that's it. And it says Born in 1814 in Monaghan, Ireland. Doesn't even have a date of death. So, and then his son, born in 1830, Ireland, died 1899 in Pennsylvania. So obviously he's the one. So then what you can do is you can click over and it will have all these sources. So it tells you, okay, 1870 census place, it's in Luzerne, Pennsylvania, roll number, page number, created date, event date, 1870. So what you're able to do is go back and it had, okay, so here he is and the 1860 census, okay, his name, male, age 30, birthplace, Ireland, race, white, event type, census, born, or event place, Pennsylvania, page number 155, and then it goes down and it says household, role, self, male. And then, I don't think he was married or anything. Let's see. Oh yeah, he would. Oh well, yeah, I guess he was, because then if he had children, which obviously we came from, pretty much everybody was married back then. I guess, like, kind of forget about that. But what? So you would, like, okay, so that was one, right? Now all these arrows, it gets rid of the other one because there's no room. So every time you hit an arrow, it gets rid of another one and another one. Okay, and you just keep picking one. Okay, that one died there. That's the end of that line. Those people are from the UK, 1733. That's as far back as that one goes. And that's one of, I mean, okay, so this is still, didn't leave my dad's side. Okay, not even that far back. So I'm just like literally hitting these arrows right here. See, it populates whoever's parents they know about in those two people and their grandparents and their grandparents. So you see how many people you have. It's unbelievable. You could never, ever, ever see all of them ever, because they're not known, for one. But two, I mean, okay, we're still going. I don't even know where we are now. That's how crazy it gets. Like, I just keep clicking and clicking until it stops. And one of them I got to 150.80. Seriously, Carl Duke of blah blah is a Viking, and it had like his like crest and a porch, and it's because if they're like royalty, then, and it sounds like, oh, you have royalty. No, everybody has royalty. Like, we're all very like share a lot of ancestors, more than we realize. But so let me go back. Okay, so now you see it this side. This is only me clicking very few of the arrows, and only on my dad's side. Okay, so let me go to my mom's side, who has way more records. Okay, so I just clicked on my mom's mom, and then all this popped up just from that. See, watch me. I mean, so now I've got 4 more lines that will just multiply, and they have to get rid of the other one because you can't. There's too many. See that? Can you believe that? There's one line of one line of one line, and it's not even. I'll tell you how far I get, like, in a second. I mean, it's fascinating, but okay. So that one ended there. So let's see who this is. So this guy was born around 1618 in England. He died in Salem, Massachusetts in 1694. He deeded his house to his oldest grandson. Let's see what it says. Okay, that's all. So I mean, they all have like actual deed. Okay, so we granted him 40 acres in Massachusetts, Salem, Essex, Massachusetts Bay Colony, British colonial America. That's what they called it back then, because it wasn't the United States of America, right? So then it says admitted to the First Salem Church, 1645. This is one person. Now, okay, so that one's up there, but that doesn't mean we can't keep going on these. Let's see. I mean, I'm telling you, I kind of like found it fun at first, and it is okay, but it's just kind of okay. This one stopped here. Birth about 1517 in Horsham, Sussex, England. And that's about all it says about him. He was married, doesn't even have her name, it just has Mrs. his name. She was born in the same place about 1521. Just imagine what life would be like back then. So then, let's see. I'm only looking for something like some, pretty interesting. Okay, so let's see. We didn't do this one in the end here. I think this one's the Viking one. So these ones will freaking ever, because they were record keepers, I guess. Well, like you guys should give this up. I know, like crazy, like leaning into the phone like that, but or the computer. I don't know how else to show you and see it too. I'm just gonna keep going. I think you guys. I hope you guys can get the idea of what's happening here, right? And these records are already in there. Like nobody has to like find them. I didn't find these. Once they're in there, they're in there. If you just put your grandparent name in there, if your grandparent's deceased, because basically what they do is they record death records, right? So someone in your family that's deceased will be in here. I mean, anyone in the last 4 generations at least will be in here, but probably more. And in fact, some people, even if they have immigrant or slavery ancestry, they would be recorded, right when they were in the United States from the entire time, slave or not. Like, they have names and they were like still documented in the sentence or in the census. They just put, Negroes or slaves or something is their, instead of like white or free or whatever. And they didn't, I can't remember if they put free because like there was no such thing as free for women. So it'd be like the man would put his name and then it would say children under 5 or whatever, you know what I mean? So it would kind of have like categories and like women, of course, kind of would be like Mrs. Ham, kind of like this one did. So I'm trying to see like, okay, let's go with this one. That one stopped at 1453. Okay. So anyway, I'll stop with that. But I'm just saying, you saw that me do that. How many freaking ancestors popped up in like just pushing arrows for 5 to 10 minutes? I mean, hundreds. And that's only going to 14. So like I said, the oldest one I found so far, and because you keep going and going, is 150 AD. And so that's on the beginning of humans or the world. So, and before that, who knows? So anyway, my point is, this whole like, okay, so when I scroll it in, okay, there's just like one little teeny line, but that's only going off like one of each. So it's so hard to explain, but once you get it, you'll see. You're just like, what in the world? Like, I never had known, because you figure it doubles every generation. You have 2 parents, 4 grandparents, 8 great grandparents, 16 great great grandparents, 32 great 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 grandparents, 64 fourth, 128 fifth, and then you have like, so 256 sixth, so 507th. Okay, just so everybody's clear, the latest, or like the youngest that we could have ancestors that would be in the time period of even when slavery ended would be 6th, or no more than 6th, and that's if they had kids old, which they didn't. Probably closer to like 7th or 8th generation. You're talking in that 7th great 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 grandparent, you have 500 of those, over 500, which means the 8th you have 1,000, and the 9th, then you probably add, if there's, so 3,000, 6,000. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like it's almost, it's too like, it gives you a headache just thinking about it. So it's looking at all these and just that small amount. I'm like, this doesn't identify me. These people are all so different. Yeah, they're all from Europe, but there's so many names and families and stories and travels. Like, we're all individuals, really. Like, we got our genetic makeup from them, and we have traits, but we don't have this like legacy to uphold like that. We have a legacy and obligation to uphold goodness in our lives and to teach it. But that's about it. I mean, not saying you should have traditions and customs and stuff like that. I just think that we're all just like this unique, just we're really not. I mean, I'm not trying to like be negative, but to me, it's positive. It's kind of freeing. It's like, okay, I got a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Cool. Like, what's the best thing I can do with it? But to feel like I'm gonna find someone else like me other than like my sister, and then now we're like this like united team because we're exactly the same. Like, it's not true. Like, even think about like, okay, my cousin, right? Um, yeah, like we have similar, look similar. Not like we look like sisters or something, but I mean, we're both like European, like same kind of skin color, that kind of thing. But she has her entire, like, our dads are brothers. She has her whole mom's side exponential. So like, we're really not the same, right? And even siblings can only sometimes you can only share 50% of your, or no, you can share 0% of your DNA with your sibling. I swear. I'm gonna find that. I'm gonna play a little more of this while I find that. It's really interesting, really humbling. It's like, okay, I mean, what are you uniting on for, honestly? Like, what is it exactly, right? Ideals, yeah, but you can align with people on ideals that look like you. So, I mean, I know you too. It is kind of interesting, and like, I think I thought I was more of a secluded identity, nationality before I knew about my genealogy than I do now. And I'm like, okay. And yes, like they do primarily come from the same places, like um, the UK, which a lot of those people are actually Danish, and because a lot of the Danish Vikings traveled to, like, England. Um, and then I have a lot of people in Denmark, but like I don't have well, I guess a lot of people in Denmark actually don't have like blonde hair because my hair, I bleach it. It's like darker on the roots, and people can see that. And I know it's not like a secret. But I've had my hair dark and all different colors before. But once you go really blonde, it's like kind of stick because it's hard to get it back to it if you dye it dark, and then you have to like it'll damage it too much and stuff. So it's easier. But I don't like know anybody from there. I don't know the language. I don't know anything about that. I know it looks pretty, but I mean, I don't know. It's like 70%, 70, I think it's 80% around there of like monolithic in terms of like race, and then it's 75% Christian. I could live in a place, I would appreciate like everybody being like closer to the same religion, but I mean, I would prefer diversity. I don't I wouldn't want to live in a place that everybody looks just like me. I know some people like that's their dream and that's cool. But me personally, I don't. I wouldn't even want to do that. So whatever. Yeah, Lionel, I think it's because it's mind blowing. And so unless people actually see it for themselves and like, push on this thing and then you realize like even the last, you know, in like 100, even say, because I use like like maybe when the US was like became a country, right? So that's 1776. So that's like, okay, so if around the abolishment, which we were talking about, was around 8 generations, and that's almost 100 years prior, 90 years, that's 4 more generations. So the eighth was at like 2,000, 4,000, 8,000, 10,000, 20. So around the time the United States became a country, we already have between now and then 20,000 ancestors. Like, think about that. That's crazy. So it's like, you know what, forget it. I mean, it's just the result of them, and that's all there is to it. I can. I get like, oh yeah, it's really interesting. I mean, I think it's more for me is not necessarily finding out about me or my people. Like that is a puzzle piece. Like for me, finding out a puzzle piece is cool. Like I want to know where did people like go and like what caused natural disasters and and like hopefully lining it up with the Bible, but lining it up to where like oh yeah, or like oh yeah, we were in the Middle East with you this time. Like just kind of making it into a whole story that we can like show with artifacts and like records and stuff. So I just like figuring it out. I don't necessarily care like, oh my, one of my 20,000 ancestors, was a queen. I mean, there's everybody has that royalty and stuff. Cause like those are the only people that kept records really. So like at the old days, you know what I mean? But then I don't know, I'm surprised how many ancestry like results they have going back for like every corner of the world, the LDS church. That family search tree.org or whatever it's called. That is a Mormon foundation, like that you just don't have to be Mormon, you don't have to sign up for anything really. You just like you have to find your grandparent and then you can see everything else. You put yourself in there, you have to add yourself. I'd have to do that too. But they don't ask you like for a member number because I actually technically I would have one. I don't know what it is. So I got baptized as a kid, but I didn't have to do anything. They don't even ask if you remember because they actually don't care. They just otherwise they wouldn't have done it. Everybody else's ancestry. They just want to have like the whole. They want access to everything. Same reason, I guess, like to have the whole collection. I guess that you say. There's a lot of power in that for them. If you're business, but just for curiosity and like hobby, it gets boring after a while of like reading about stuff like that. First few stories, like, oh my gosh, these people sailed on this ship, and look, it's called this, and like, and you're like, okay, they all sailed on the ships. Okay, okay, Lionel, have a great day. I'm actually gonna get off too. I'm like, I can't believe it's already like 9 o'clock my time. It flew by. How long have I been even on here? I have no idea. I can already hear my kids getting up. And so I'm like, okay, I'm sleeping for that. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna play a little bit more of this other one, and then I'm gonna shut it down here in like 10 minutes. Lena, I hope I'll see you again later soon. I'm gonna. I'll do these kind of streams like if I don't do restricted, but I can't figure it out. I don't really like doing enough shows, and I'm sick of them. Like just make out whatever the hell they want whenever they want. So anyway. Okay.
Afrocentric organization. And for those who pay the price.
As the Moorish Science Temple of America, do you
Oh, then I
feel
forgot
any
to put
sense of
that
obligation
screen back
to
like that.
check those fringe
no.
groups?
Oh yeah, we check them all the time. All the time.
What does that look
I
like?
had
It
lots
looks
of
like
time
you're being caught with your hand in the cookie jar.
Oh, yes.
And we see you with your hand in the
I don't
cookie jar.
remind us from them.
And you still lie that that's not your hand. But they don't have to be told that they're wrong.
Fringe groups.
Oh yeah, we check them all the time. All the time.
What does that look like?
It looks like you're being caught with your hand in the cookie jar. And we see you with your hand in the cookie jar. And you still lie.
See, this is what I like about doing these kind of things because if we only saw, like, or at least me, with my opinion on these people that think they don't have to like be a team player, if we'd only seen the first news clips with these people coming around stealing people's houses and claiming to be, like not sovereign, not having to follow the rules, not pay taxes, and like doing other stuff, be like, yeah, the Moors are scum, But because we're like watching the whole thing on it and like saying, no, these are actually the real Moors, kind of like the real natives that like want their name back, and like, people are like, oh my gosh, you should be offended. Like, okay, but I'm not. Things like I'm offended that you're trying to take away our like warrior, and that we painted our faces red for the wars. Like that was a sign of strength, you know. But like people are like, no, they're saying your skin's red, like black or white or yellow or brown, and like they're so ignorant they don't talk about. So we would have like thinking of these people as the wars as the ignorant representations, but and you see, and now we see like a wise man who's respectable, honorable, upholds society. Like, no, you know, the Moors are good. I like the Moors. Okay, let's go. I'll go finish this up and then I'm gonna go. Probably go stand my kids and then take a nap. All right. Oh my gosh. Really? Oh shut up. Go back. I really messed things up with this touchscreen and I have no need for it at the mouth again. But then I just forget to put that back up.
What does that look like?
It looks
there
like you're being caught with your hand in the cookie jar.
My
And
eyes
we
are getting
see you
tired.
with
I'm
your
like
hand in the
squinting now. I can tell.
and you still lie that that's not your hand. But they don't have to be told that they're wrong as much as the law is telling them that they're wrong. Because whether you have affairs on or not, if you're breaking the law, you're breaking the law, and you're going to get yours.
It kind of like Polynesian man.
All rise, please.
A little bit. And
Your Honor, the next matter before the court is Conwell versus Jamal Latimer, docket 21-361. Remain.
Jamal has been incarcerated since last summer's roadside incident. If convicted on all 11 indictments, mostly weapons charges, he could be locked up for decades. Jaleesa continues to attend each of Jamal's hearings. We were able to speak to him through a recorded line after his most recent pretrial hearing, where he remained steadfast in his mission.
This is a collect call from an incarcerated individual at the Middlesex County Billerica House of Corrections.
Hello? Hey, Jamal, how you doing?
I'm all right, how are you?
I'm good. What is the ultimate goal of the rise of the Moors?
What's next is to continue to try to do my best to educate my people as to what's going on and possible remedies for a lot of these problems. We're essentially victims of genocide, and it's throughout the legal system of the United States, which makes it a crime against humanity. It affects every aspect of our lives. It affects our education. It affects our ability to do business. It affects our quality of life.
What we need to do now then, when some of these imposters are like, you know, saying things like that, we got to stick up for the original Moors. You know what I mean? Because they're giving them a bad name. They're like, there's a better word for even than disrespect. It's like degrading. It's like almost blasphemy, you know? Things that it's not easy to be honorable to a good person all the time. So I mean, you got to take a lot of L's for it, you know? But it's the only way to like just stay continuously progressive. But like, so, you know, I think that's good when we see the real deal and like they are, you know, obviously verbally like what do you call it? Like I'm starting to lose my words. Like rejecting them, I guess. There's a better. But anyway, so if they're rejecting them, then by us rejecting them as well, or like saying no because I saw they don't believe that they don't believe they believe in the laws, you know, and so they don't get more followers because people hear them more and they're like, oh my gosh, they're this like strong group. They were like advanced. They were traveled and they were powerful, and so they're like, yeah, I'm the more too. I'm like, I'll be that, and they're like, yeah, we don't do this. We still have, you know, in their little sneaky language, and then it's like the more people that know, like, no, the fake words. I think sometimes when people say what you know they claim they are or how they believe, and like, yeah, we want to be respectful for freedom of religion stuff, but it's like breaking the law or even just like unscrupulous. Like we're kind of scared of things because like, well, how much, you know what I mean? But when we know that it our bias like knowing it rubs the wrong way, but also knowing that they're like trying to steal other people's identities and you know, disgrace their name and reputation, then like we're actually doing something good by telling them like, no, we don't believe you, you know. That's how they manipulate people is by making them feel like they can't say anything. Because otherwise they'd be, you know, like infringing on their rights. So
I think of anything more important than trying to change that.
okay. All right, I'm gonna hop down. I'm tired. I'm starting to like kind of not make sense, I think. So my brain's done. But I would probably come back later. What's going on? See, now it starts throwing me all the. Oh wait. Yeah, nursing most of these people. That one I had clicked on. This one I thought about watching. And I did see the beginning of it, and then that's how I found out that the mother, and this was like in the UK, whatever it's called back then. But mother, I think they were royalty. I don't know exactly what, but she said that they sent her daughter in for a surgery of some sort. That they tricked her and gave her a hysterectomy. When she came out of it, and then like they told her whatever, you know, however she knew, and she was like obviously upset. And I was like, why would you do that to me? And it's because they said, because you're dim-witted. And like, so the whole point of eugenics wasn't even started necessarily at first by any kind of race. It was started by intellect. So because they could tell like she was slow, they did not want her to have children. So dim-witted basically means stupid, you know, like slow, like just not like high IQ or, you know, logic or whatever. Said that to her own daughter. So I mean, yeah, some people also attribute like some races as all dim-witted because they're ignorant and they're just racist. So yeah, they would perpetuate eugenics in that way. Not saying like not the big top people like the Margaret Singer those people. I'm not they're dumb, they're evil crap people, but like the average people, you know. But yeah, so it's actually we started that. So I might do that some other time. High school, taking your daughters. All right. Okay. Well, I'm silent now. All right. I'm gonna shut this down. I think. Okay. So last time I did it didn't save, so I think that's because I didn't share it on YouTube. I don't know. So I'm just gonna end it, and I don't know if it'll save since I don't stream it anymore. But either way, for people that got to come and hang out and see it, Lionel, thank you guys. I do want to watch your movie. If I'm still awake, I'll come into the movie, and then I might like kind of drift off during it, but I might. I think you're doing it like an hour, probably, right? Lionel hanging with you. It's boring. Yeah. All right. Happy Sunday. I'll talk to you soon.